Chapter 64. As soon as he came back, he encountered these scum surrounding Jade Palace and forced Shi Shuiyun to marry this trash. This instantly made Yi Tianyun angry to the extreme. What Wing sect leader, he is nothing in front of him. In the blink of an eye, he killed 2 elders, which made them stunned. The overbearing power made them feel cold. The terrifying power seems to be beyond their expectation. How long has it been? Less than a month? Or even less than half a month, and he is already as strong as an elder. Kill? Yi Tianyun didn't say any nonsense. He immediately killed the elders around him. He is not in a hurry to kill Qin Yunqing and the others. His cultivation level is lower than them, so it is not easy to deal with them. The most important thing is to kill them one by one. After his cultivation level is higher, he will kill them again. 10,000 swords return to origin. His eyes flashed a few sharp lights, as if several swords appeared in his eyes. The next moment, he turned into a lightning, rushed forward, and swung his sword forward. Obviously he only swung his sword, but it is like swinging 10,000 swords. Countless sword chi burst out in all directions. Immediately after, screams rang out incessantly. Countless rays of sword chi shot out in all directions. After they hit, they easily pierced through. Blood splattered everywhere, dyeing the entire hall red. In the blink of an eye, several elders fell down, blood flowed to the white ground. Ding, successfully killed Spirit Sect Elder, gained 120. 000 EXP, 2000 Crazy Point. Ding, successfully killed Spirit Sect Elder, gained 120. 000 EXP, 2000 Crazy Point. Ding, successfully killed Wing Sect Elder, gained 120. 000 EXP, 500 Forging Mastery, 2000 Crazy Point. Ding, successfully killed Wind Sect Elder, gained 120. 000 EXP, 2000 Crazy Point. Ding, congratulations to player Yi Tianyun. Successfully broke through to 6th level core condensation. After killing 4 or 5 elders in a row, his EXP increased rapidly, and suddenly his cultivation level skyrocketed. Killing 1 is equivalent to killing a dozen elders. How can the EXP be low? Quick, stop him. Qin Yunqing and the others are crazy. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tianyun turned into lightning and beheaded several elders. His cultivation level is not 7th or 8th level of Spirit Refinement Realm, but 3rd or 4th level of Core Condensation Realm. Crazy, they've all gone crazy. Suddenly, a monster appeared from the rear and broke their formation. Is this Yi Tianyun? That seems to be the case. His appearance doesn't seem to have changed much. Could it be that he encountered some kind of fortuitous encounter that allowed his cultivation to soar so much? That speed, that power, and that weapon, they're even more powerful than the elders. The disciples of Jade Palace are stunned. Yi Tianyun's cultivation level has shocked them. These elders were scared, and even more scared Shi Shuiyun. Core condensation stage. How old was Yi Tianyun? He was only 16 or 17 years old, but he was already a core condensation cultivator. According to this level, he's even more powerful than Shi Shuiyun. Boy, don't be arrogant. Xiang Tianya roared and took out his best spirit sword. A cold light flashed and stabbed at Yi Tianyun. Xiang Tianya's strength is at 6th level core condensation. His aura is much stronger than the elders. The extreme sword light turned into a giant sword, fiercely stabbing him, trying to pierce him. He's already using his strongest move. The continuous release of chi waves swept the entire hall. The ground was affected by this sword light, creating a deep ravine. Chief Pavilion, Lord of Wind Pavilion, all of you are jackals of the same lair, a group of animals. Today I will kill all of you. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed, the corner of his mouth hooked up into a sneer. Ignorant child, go to hell. Save these words for your next life. In the blink of an eye, Xiang Tianya has already arrived in front of him, waving his spirit sword. Yi Tianyun looked at Xiang Tianya rushing towards him. After activating the appraisal eye, the accurate combat power was displayed in front of him, 35,000 combat power. With the support of a top-grade spiritual sword and a top-grade martial art, his battle power instantly reached 35,000. Although it could still continue to float up, it definitely wouldn't go too far. But his combat power is only 30,000 damage, there is still a small gap between the two. But as long as he releases his martial arts, his combat power will surpass Xiang Tianya, but it won't be easy to kill him. Crazy damage mode, activate. In an instant, Yi Tianyun's eyes burst out a cold light, killing intent burst out, the wind blade in his hand burst out of the electric light, suddenly increased by 2 times. Crazy damage mode, it can increase everything by 2 times. Whether it is speed or strength, it suddenly increased by 2 times. Combat power 60,000. 30,000 points of damage exploded all of a sudden, reaching 60,000 points of combat power, instantly off the charts. Boom! He slammed the ground, rushed forward like a lightning, and in the blink of an eye, he penetrated Xiang Tianya. After penetrating Xiang Tianya, he stopped in the same place. The next moment, Xiang Tianya, who rushed forward, fell forward, slid on the ground for a distance, and no longer moved. Seeing a pool of blood spread from his body, he knew that he is finished. Ding, successfully killed Xiang Tianya, gained 400,000 experience, martial arts extreme sparking, 1,000 alchemy mastery, 3,000 crazy point. 1 move to kill, there is no difficulty at all. He didn't use Frost Fist, he directly used Wind Blade to cut them one by one. This is the price they have to pay. Phew! A cold light flashed from behind him, silent. Many Jade Palace disciples didn't see it clearly. When they saw it clearly, they wanted to warn him, but it seems that it is too late. Get lost. A wisp of fragrance came into Yi Tianyun's nose. It is so fragrant, so comfortable. Then, a beautiful figure landed behind him just like that. She waved the spirit sword in her hand and slashed out a white-silver light. Luo Shui. While an extreme cold was released from the long sword, blocking the sneak attack of Yi Tianyun and blocking his back. Who dares to hurt my Ying? Behind Yi Tianyun is Shi Shuiyun, holding a long sword, staring coldly at Qing Yunqing not far away. You are the sect leader of Wing Sect, you dare to sneak attack the younger generation, you really have no shame. She completely released her cold chi. Her 7th level core condensation stage cultivation is above everyone else. She is the real expert here. Yi Tianyun looked at Shi Shuiyun's state. Her combat power is as high as 43,000. Chapter 65. Feeling the familiar aura of Shi Shuiyun, the two of them fight side by side at this moment, like a pair of immortal couple. In the face of countless enemies, they don't even flinch. Yi Tianyun's heart is touched. No matter what, Shi Shuiyun will choose to stand by his side, never abandon him. Even Sister Xiaolian is far less than Shi Shuiyun's feelings for him. This feeling has surpassed everything. This is the highest realm of staying together in life and death, never abandoning each other. And Yi Tianyun is moved. In the face of so many forces, she will never compromise, but in the face of Yi Tianyun's life, she is willing to give up everything. You are finally willing to come back? You don't want to stay outside anymore? Shi Shuiyun's tone is not as gentle as usual, but full of majesty, murderous intent. Yi Tianyun is instantly embarrassed. He knows that Shi Shuiyun is angry. She feels that he hid outside for so long without coming back, not knowing whether he is alive or dead. It makes her very worried. I am thinking for Jade Palace. If it is because of me that Jade Palace is in danger, then wouldn't I be a sinner? Yi Tianyun shook his head. If Jade Palace is strong, then it's okay, but now it is weak. If it provokes so many forces, it will definitely be destroyed. But now it seems that from the beginning, they went straight to the treasure of Jade Palace. Although he doesn't know what treasure it is, it certainly is not simple. Sinner? Then I didn't take care of you. I am the biggest sinner. No matter what happens, we will face it together. What do you mean? Shi Shuiyun's eyes suddenly become slightly red. She thought a lot, worried that Yi Tianyun will be killed or caught and tortured. These days she was distracted. If it wasn't for Jade Palace, she would have already run out to search for him. Yi Tianyun's throat seemed to be blocked by something. Since a long time ago, the two of them had said that they would always be together and never leave each other. You adulterous couple. Things have come to this, yet you still dare to flirt in front of us. After Qin Yunqing was repelled, he was furious. Kill them all, kill them all. I don't believe that you two can support the entire Jade Palace. They had brought more people with them. Xiang Tianya's death was not a big deal, but there was still the sect leader of the Celestial Spirit sect. Now that things had come to this, they were ready to risk it all. Kill them all. Kill anyone you see. We'll stop the two of them. The sect leader of Celestial Spirit sect, Jia Jun, was furious as well. Yi Tianyun had just killed many of their elders. How could he not be furious? Instantly, all of them burst forth with their strongest power and took out their strongest treasures. In an instant, their battle prowess increased crazily. The other deacons and elders all rushed to the side. Obeying the order of the sect leader, they are going to kill everyone here and wash the entire Jade Palace with blood. The cultivators of Jade Palace are generally low in cultivation, so they can't resist the slaughter of these people. How dare you? Shi Shuiyun screamed and flew to intercept them, but Qin Yunqing has already intercepted them, and with a flash of sword and sword, they collided with each other in an instant. Bang! Shi Shuiyun was bounced back by Qin Yunqing. After Qin Yunqing used his full power, he can actually compete with Shi Shuiyun. As expected of the sect leader of Wing Sect, it's not surprising that he has such a high level. In addition, Jia Jun is also standing on the side. He didn't attack, but he trapped the two of them so that his subordinates can attack Jade Palace. If you want to pass, you have to pass me first. Qin Yunqing sneered, I will let you see the situation of the entire Jade Palace being slaughtered by us. Shi Shuiyun's face changed. The killing intent in her eyes is getting stronger and stronger. It seems to have reached the extreme. Bang! Suddenly a cold air burst in the crowd, and the cultivators who rushed to Jade Palace are frozen in place. They can no longer move. Even Qin Yunqing and the others were affected, all of them fixed in place, unable to budge. The effect of Frost Fist is activated again. I would like to see who can touch Jade Palace. Yi Tianyun snorted coldly and flew over there. A sword light flashed, and the cultivators who rushed to Jade Palace were cut into several pieces. Blood splashed everywhere. Ding! Successfully killed. A lot of EXP popped up again, and quickly turned into the EXP he needs. After Yi Tianyun swept a circle, many cultivators have fallen to the ground and never got up again. Many people don't know what happened. Inexplicably they can't move, and then Yi Tianyun beheaded them. Everything happened too fast, too sudden, they can't react. Not to mention Qin Yunqing, even the people on Jade Palace's side can't move. Within this range, everyone will be frozen, regardless of friend or foe. What's going on? Shi Shuiyun froze. She noticed that something is wrong. It seems that they are frozen. She knows that this is Yi Tianyun's doing, but this is too evil, isn't it? A large number of people are frozen here and can't move. Isn't this a slaughter? And with me here, no one can touch Jade Palace and no one can touch you. Yi Tianyun's eyes are full of killing intent and immediately said coldly, let's get rid of them both. Qin Yunqing and Jia Jun can't move. They are fixed in place, watching them rush over, but they can't struggle. The effect of this Frost Fist is too heaven-defying, even if it can only temporarily freeze them for a period of time, but for them, even if they are fixed for half a minute, it is already a deadly existence. Shi Shuiyun's beautiful eyes lit up, looking at Yi Tianyun. Her heart is a bit touched. Unconsciously, Yi Tianyun has become the pillar of the entire Jade Palace. Spirit Sect. Kill. Yi Tianyun turned the wind-chasing blade in his hand, turned into a lightning, rushed towards Jia Jiyun, and slashed his sword, cutting Jia Jiyun in half. At this moment, Jia Jiyun recovered from the frozen state, but it's too late. He has been cut in half by Yi Tianyun. He can't live at all. Ding! Successfully killed Spirit Sect leader Jia Yun, gained 400,000 EXP, Spirit Congealing Pill, 3,000 Crazy Point. After killing him, the reward is still relatively small, not too much, can only say that this is too poor. But he doesn't care about this at all. What he cares about is killing these intruders. At this time, Shi Shuiyun also held a spirit sword and stabbed at Qin Yunqing. When she was ready to kill Qin Yunqing, suddenly a loud shout came from behind. Don't be presumptuous. A terrifying momentum came from a distance. A huge golden palm slapped over. Shi Shuiyun's face changed, quickly waved her sword to resist. Boom! Shi Shuiyun was directly blown back, sliding a long distance, barely stopped. As soon as she stopped, her face became flushed, and a trace of blood flowed down from the corner of her mouth. It was obvious that she had suffered a serious injury. Chapter 66. Aunt. Lee Danyun rushed over and hugged her. He took out a recovery pill and gave it to her. Shi Shuiyun didn't look at the pill and swallowed it. Even if Lee Tianyun gave her poison, she will still take it. After taking it, she immediately felt a lot better, and the injuries in her body eased a lot. I'm fine. Shi Shuiyun clenched her sword and stared at the front. Then an old man walked in from the door, looking at them coldly, and a terrifying aura shrouded them. Before, no one is as strong as this old man. Lee Tianyun looked up and suddenly froze. With the appraisal eye, the old man's data is exposed. 9th level core condensation, wearing the best spirit tool armor, Earth level martial arts heaven raising palm, combat power 80,000. This is certainly not the old man's limit. The appraisal eye only shows the highest combat power. With the addition of Earth level martial art, his comprehensive combat power is instantly off the charts, directly crushing Lee Tianyun's 60,000 combat power. Compared to this, Lee Tianyun is more concerned about the name above the old man's head, glittering gold. Obviously, this is a super elite, and he penetrates the dark red color, proving that he is quite strong. Finally, after so long, a super elite appeared. Azure Cloud Castle is not elite level, it can only be regarded as an ordinary elite. The things dropped are good, but not good. But now there is an old man, a real elite. Finally, a super elite appeared. I don't know what kind of reward will drop after killing him. Lee Tianyun squinted, not afraid at all. The old man has a trump card, he also has a trump card. Ding, do you accept the quest, protect Jade Palace, resist the enemy, reward, 100,000 EXP, 10,000 gold, 1 lottery, 100 points of overall favorability. This kind of random quest finally appeared. It didn't appear before, it must be beyond the range of Jade Palace, so this kind of quest appeared. I definitely have to accept it. Lee Tianyun accepted it without any hesitation. The reward for completing the mission was not bad. Not only did he get a lottery, but he also received an increase in favorability points. As for the 100,000 EXP, he didn't care about it anymore. After Qin Yunqing recovered from his frozen state, he quickly retreated, his entire body covered in cold sweat. He had almost died in Shi Shuiyun's hands. That kind of fear was still unable to calm down. Especially when he was frozen just now. He tried his best to break free, but it took him half a minute to break free. He would have died countless times in a battle against someone of the same level. I didn't expect it to be my turn. I wanted to see if the old guy of Jade Palace will come out of his seclusion. I didn't expect these few people to force me out before those old fellows came out. Qin Tianlong said coldly, "You're a bunch of trash. You can't even deal with a small Jade Palace. How can you deal with big things?" The same goes for Spirit Sect and Wind Pavilion. They are too weak. He didn't want to come out. He didn't want to do these things. He just wanted to hide in the dark. If the old guy of Jade Palace came out, he might be able to get a surprise attack. He didn't expect to be forced to come out now, so he had to take action. Heavenly Spirit Sect's sect master was beheaded, but he was indifferent. Anyway, he died. It has nothing to do with Wing Sect. When he was ready to kill Qin Yunqing, he had to take action, but this is tantamount to ruining the previous plan. Ancestor, that kid is a bit strange. I don't know what kind of martial art he used, but he froze us all. We can't move at all. Qin Yunqing pointed at Lee Tianyun in horror. I can see it, I sensed it before. Qin Tianlong looked at Lee Tianyun coldly. I want to see how strange it is. Qin Tianlong took a few steps forward, his murderous aura soared into the sky. The sky was full of red color, immediately showing a purgatory scene, forming a unique domain. Qin Tianlong held a banner in his hand, and murderous aura surged out of it. The cultivators who were shrouded by the murderous aura immediately emerged in their eyes. They were affected by this murderous aura. There is a feeling of extreme thirst for battle. no longer afraid of the slightest fear. Kill them. Qing Tianlong pointed forward, ordering the remaining people to rush forward and fight with Jade Palace. He doesn't care about their life and death. Affected by the murderous aura, they madly waved their weapons and rushed towards Yi Tianyun. They seem to have forgotten the horror of Yi Tianyun just now. They are all confused by the murderous aura. This is the ability of Qing Tianlong. What a strong murderous aura. This old ancestor Qing Tianlong is really not simple. I heard that he slaughtered many cultivators to refine the blood banner in his hand. Shi Shuiyun said coldly, "Be careful, don't be affected by this murderous aura." "No problem." Yi Tianyun's eyes are cold. This Qing Tianlong doesn't care about their life and death. He is using them as cannon fodder to interfere with them and test them. "Palace Lord, we will help you." At this time, the three elders have come over. Facing dozens of cultivators who don't care about their life, they immediately stood up and prepared to fight together. At this point, no matter how prejudiced they will choose to stand together, instead of quarreling with each other. "Okay, let's fight together. Those with low cultivation, stay behind." Shi Shuiyun immediately issued an order. When the others have retreated, they immediately rushed forward and fought with the cultivators who rushed up. The cultivators who are affected by the murderous aura, their combat power has increased, especially when they don't care about their life. They don't even try to dodge the sword. They are already crazy to this extent. How can they not be crazy? Get lost. Yi Tianyun slashed and cut the cultivator who rushed up. Then after killing the cultivator who rushed up, his eyes are cold. He stared at Qing Tianlong in the distance and sneered, "You hurt my aunt, I will make you pay the price." Just now, when Shi Shuiyun was injured, it made him extremely angry. Frost Fist, activate. The effect of Frost Fist is activated again. This effect has a relatively short cooldown time, so it is said to be a super killer. After it was released, a cold light exploded near the green sky dragon and instantly enveloped them. At this time, Qing Tianlong is frozen. A layer of frost quickly appeared on the surface of his body. But in the next moment, Qing Tianlong roared, boom. The frost on his body is immediately washed away by the murderous aura. It is useless. The entire process took less than a second, and the freezing effect was broken. Chapter 67. Sure enough, it's a bit strange, but little guy, it's useless against me. Qing Tianlong sneered and waved the blood banner in his hand. Countless evil chi surged again, enveloping them in it. Fortunately, other Jade Palace disciples with lower cultivation have quickly evacuated from here, otherwise they will definitely be affected by this blood banner. After they were enveloped by this blood banner, they immediately felt a killing intent from the bottom of their heart. The most obvious is the three elders. Their cultivation is relatively low. Their eyes immediately appeared a blood-red light, followed by a surge of killing intent. At this time they looked around. No matter who it is, they are full of killing intent. This is the most terrible thing about blood banner. It can cause them to kill each other. If their will is a little bit stronger, they can block this blood banner, but it will more or less affect their mind, and also affect their fighting state. Is that so? Then I would like to see how you take this move of mine. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed coldly. The blood in his body surged, ready to burst out the strongest combat power. Shi Shuiyun floated over and landed beside him. A faint cold aura enveloped him, not letting him be affected by the slightest baleful aura. Leave him to me, you go help him. Shi Shuiyun's eyes are cold. In the face of such a powerful enemy, she has already used all her strength. Aunt, leave him to me, I can do it. Yi Tianyun knows why Shi Shuiyun came here. She doesn't want him to fight. She is afraid that he will be injured. His cultivation is very strong. It's not so easy to deal with him. Let me. Shi Shuiyun didn't finish her words. Yi Tianyun grabbed her slender arm and gently dragged her into his arms. And, believe me, I'm no longer the little brother you used to protect, but a little brother who can protect my sister. This time it's my turn to protect you, to protect the entire Jade Palace. Yi Tianyun's eyes are shining, full of determination, without the slightest confusion. Shi Shuiyun was stunned. Yi Tianyun's determined face was reflected in her beautiful eyes. She didn't know how long it had been since the little boy who had always been with her had grown into such a mature man. Her eyes turned slightly red. She opened her mouth and said, "I'll wait for you to come back." Yeon-yun smiled and nodded. In the next moment, he turned around, replacing the face engraved in her eyes with those broad shoulders, as if he could bear all responsibilities, all burdens. Immediately, Sher Shuayun quickly retreated, together with the three elders, to resist this crazy cultivator, lest he enters the interior of Jade Palace. "Palace Master, is it all right to just let him go?" Great Elder knows that Yi Tianyun's cultivation is not weak, but in the face of this terrifying Qing Tianlong, there is still a big gap. "Believe in him." Sher Shuayun gently spit out a sentence. She now believes in Yi Tianyun. Qing Yunqing looked at Yi Tianyun coming over, looked at him with pitiful eyes and said, "I didn't expect you to be so arrogant, coming here alone. Do you really think you are a hero? Without that evil martial art, you're just a fart. Old ancestor, kill him." Qing Tianlong sneered, "Brat, you killed so many elders of my sect. Today I will bury you and the entire Jade Palace with you." The elders and deacons of Wing sect are basically dead. The remaining disciples are of little value. That's why he controlled them to kill Yi Tianyun. Anyway, it's useless to keep them here. They are just a bunch of trash. Really, I want to see if you have the ability to do so. Dragon God's secret art, open. Yi Tianyun looked up to the sky and roared. The dragon roar came out from his throat, and the blood in his body was instantly stimulated. It's like a giant dragon galloping in his body. The next moment, a piece of golden dragon scales emerged from the surface of his body, and in the blink of an eye, his whole body was covered with a thick layer of dragon scales, and his body became bigger and stronger. A terrifying power flowed out from his strong physique, and he stood there like a huge dragon. Obviously, it's just a layer of dragon scales covering his whole body, but it gives them the feeling of a giant dragon standing in front of them. At the same time, he can feel his combat power evaluation skyrocketing. 65,000. 70,000. 75,000. 80,000. In an instant, his combat power is the same as Qing Tianlong. Amazing dragon might is released from his body. It looks unparalleled. For a time, they are stunned. Yeon-yun can transform. This looks like a dragon's physique? The power that burst out is unprecedented. This is Tianyun's power. Sher Shuayun opened her mouth in shock. She can feel the terrifying power. It's even stronger than her. He has really become the man who can protect me, and not the boy who was always protected by me. This is the dragon race? Qing Tianlong is shocked. His name has the word dragon in it, but it doesn't mean that he has dragon blood in his body. After Yi Tianyun completely transformed, a cold light flashed across his eyes, and he immediately stomped on the ground, turning into a shock wave and attacking Qing Tianlong with a loud bang. He did not use any weapons. Instead, he used the frost fist on his hand and attacked Qing Tianlong fiercely. "Go to hell." Seeing this, Qing Tianlong's expression changed, and he quickly waved the blood banner in his hand. As he waved, countless blood skeletons whizzed towards him, and a chilly wind blew. These bloodthirsty skeletons all rushed towards Yi Tianyun, trying to eat him up. Dragon God skill, first style, Dragon Soul Flash. In an instant, a giant dragon appeared on Yi Tianyun's body, and the energy that came out from his body when he was running turned into a dragon soul, shrouding his body. Then, the dragon soul clawed at the incoming blood slaughter skeleton. It swung its huge claws at the blood slaughter skeleton. Swoosh! With the power that can tear space apart, the blood slaughter skeletons that pounced on him were easily destroyed. He easily pierced through them, and the blood slaughter skeletons were useless. As long as they got close to the dragon soul, their souls would be shattered by the domineering dragon power. The domineering dragon power is not to be blasphemed. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tianyun had already arrived in front of Qing Tianlong, and he fiercely waved his heavy fist, aiming at Qing Tianlong. "This is a punch for Ant." He roared, and his voice turned into the roar of a dragon and a tiger, soaring into the sky, and his fist was like a huge dragon claw, grabbing forward. "Oh no!" Qing Tianlong's face darkened, and he quickly waved the blood banner in his hand to block. It looks like a banner, but it can also be used as a defensive tool. In this urgent situation, he can only use all his strength to block. Boom! Under the terrifying dragon claw, Qing Tianlong was forcibly blown away, and he only managed to stop after retreating a few dozen meters. However, the blood banner in his hand had a few more deep marks. Chapter 68. With an explosive punch, Qing Tianlong was sent flying and the blood-killing banner in his hand was destroyed. This was enough to show how terrifying this power was. Although this blood evil banner is not a top-level treasure, but it is at least an upper-grade spirit tool, but after being grabbed by Yi Tianyun, a few holes appeared on it. "How dare you destroy my blood fiend banner?" Qing Tianlong's face darkened. This was a treasure that he had spent a lot of effort to forge. Although it was only a superior-grade spiritual weapon, it was stronger than a supreme-grade spiritual weapon. It should be said that the effect was amazing. Treasures were judged by their effects. This was similar to the effect of the Frost Fist. Although it was only an inferior-grade spiritual weapon, based on this effect, it was not even comparable to a soul weapon. However, this weapon could not be forged, so it was normal for it to be outstanding. Boom! What answered him was not Yi Tianyun's words, but Yi Tianyun's fist. An overbearing punch came again. The terrifying tearing claw came through the air and clawed down with all its might. The huge dragon claw shrouded Qing Tianlong. The terrifying killing intent locked onto him, and there was no way to avoid it. "Don't look down on me!" Qing Tianlong roared, and the storage ring on his hand flashed. In the next moment, a blood-colored saber appeared in his hand. This blood-colored saber was about half the height of a person, and it was covered in dense divine inscriptions. The moment the weapon appeared, a terrifying murderous aura spread out in all directions. It was another broadsword filled with murderous aura. It was unknown how many innocent people's blood it had stained to produce such a murderous aura. Blood stains the mountains and rivers. A red light flashed in Qing Tianlong's eyes and a blood-red broadsword shot up to meet Yi Tianyun's palm. Boom! The terrifying crimson blade light cut the palm in half as if it was a piece of tofu, and the rest of the blood-fiend blade light continued to attack Yi Tianyun. Countless blood-killing skeletons whizzed through the broadsword. Their distorted faces and miserable screams could be heard from the broadsword. Tianyun quickly swung his fist to block, and his fist collided with the bloody saber light. With a bang, he was sent flying, but he only slid a few steps back. The rest of the saber gleam had already been absorbed into his body by his absorbing star's great technique and turned into experience points. As long as it was energy, the absorbing star's great technique could absorb it, so it could absorb the attack and minimize the damage. Such powerful strength. Detailed data flashed in Yi Tianyun's eyes, and he immediately checked the detailed data of the blood-red broadsword. Crimson Divine Saber, supreme-grade spirit weapon. It was forged by absorbing the blood of tens of thousands of people. It is filled with a baleful aura. Those with low cultivation would be easily affected and lose their minds. With this Blood Ray Divine Blade, Qing Tianlong's overall combat power instantly rose to 90,000. Just this broadsword alone increased his battle power by a full 10,000 points. This was equivalent to equipping them with a better weapon, and their combat power would naturally increase exponentially. After killing the crazy cultivator, Shi Shuiyun looked at Yi Tianyun worriedly. With the Blood Ray Divine Blade, Qing Tianlong was even more heaven-defying. Could Tianyun deal with him? Again, Yi Tianyun suddenly stomped on the ground and turned into a wave of impact that rushed forward. He once again displayed the Dragon Soul Claw and ruthlessly clawed at Qing Tianlong's body. Again? "It's useless, idiot," Qing Tianlong sneered. He gripped the Blood Ray Divine Blade tightly and prepared to attack the Dragon Soul Claw. Just as he was about to counterattack, the Dragon Soul Claw suddenly swung to the side, and with lightning speed, it ruthlessly slapped at Qing Yunqing, who was at the side. Forget about Qing Tianlong, even Qing Yunqing did not expect this. "Old ancestor, save me!" Qing Yunqing shouted in horror and hurriedly used his spirit sword to block the attack, but how can his strength be stronger than Yi Tianyun? The attack that he swung was immediately crushed by the Dragon Soul Claw, and then directly pressed on his body. "Bastard, don't be presumptuous!" Qing Tianlong roared and slashed at Yi Tianyun. The sharp blood ray divine blade slashed at him, trying to interrupt Yi Tianyun's attack. But Yi Tianyun didn't care about the incoming attack at all, and still slammed forward. Boom! Qing Yunqing was directly slapped to the ground, flattened by the huge dragon soul claw, blood splattered everywhere. Ding successfully killed Qing Yunqing, gained 430,000 EXP, 1,000 blacksmith mastery, 3,600 crazy point. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun, successfully broke through to 7th level core condensation. After killing Qing Yunqing, his cultivation rose again, and after killing 3 sect leaders in a row, he finally leveled up and reached a stronger level. His comprehensive combat power instantly soared, surpassing Qing Tianlong. From the beginning, he didn't aim at Qing Tianlong, he wanted to kill Qing Yunqing and gain EXP. He checked that he still has a little EXP left, he can level up. As long as he kills Qing Yunqing, he can level up. Moreover, Qing Yunqing on the side laughed that he will be killed by Qing Tianlong. In that case, he will kill him first. Damn it! You son of a bitch, go to hell. The anger in Qing Tianlong's eyes was about to erupt. He waved the blood ray divine blade in his hand and ruthlessly slashed over. Qing Yunqing was not his son, but he was his relative. They were related by blood, otherwise, he would not have come out to save him. The fierce blade slashed over. Tianyun did not panic, he quickly waved his fist to block. The dragon soul claw that he swung out expanded a circle in an instant. The power increased by a lot. Boom! After the two attacks collided, the spiritual power was compressed to the extreme, causing a violent explosion. Both of them were sent flying, but Qing Tianlong was sent flying even further. He retreated more than 10 meters before he barely managed to stop himself. Yi Tianyun only retreated a few meters and then stopped. The difference between them is obvious. His aura became stronger. Qing Tianlong was stunned. This move is stronger than before. Is it his illusion, or is Yi Tianyun deliberately suppressing his cultivation? Shi Shuiyun and the rest all felt that whether it is speed or power, it is a level stronger than before. It even overshadowed Qing Tianlong. Could it be that Yi Tianyun deliberately showed weakness in order to kill Qing Yunqing? They didn't know that Yi Tianyun just broke through. Who would have thought that after killing someone he easily broke through? After leveling up, I can really fight against him a little. Yi Tianyun's expression was indifferent. This is not out of his expectations. After his cultivation increased, his comprehensive combat power has reached the level of 93,000. Chapter 69. I didn't expect you to hide your strength. It seems that you can't be allowed to live. Qing Tianlong's face was gloomy. If this continues, Yi Tianyun will definitely become a super strong person. At such a young age, he already has the strength to compete with him. If he is allowed to live, it will be a disaster for Wing Sect. It should be said that if Yi Tianyun escapes, it will be a disaster. It's time to end it. No matter how talented you are still a little too inexperienced. Qing Tianlong picked up the blood ray divine saber in his hand and slashed at his arm. Puchi, blood sputtered on the blood ray divine saber. In an instant, the blood ray divine saber lit up, and a terrifying murderous aura emerged and rose to the sky. When it was stained with Qing Tianlong's blood, the murderous aura of the blood ray divine saber suddenly increased several times. After this murderous aura broke out, it continuously poured into Qing Tianlong's body. In an instant, it made his eyes become incomparably red, like a god of death. His comprehensive combat power rose in a straight line, suddenly rushed to 95,000, and then entered the ranks of 100,000. But it was not over yet. He continued to rush forward crazily, killing his way to 110,000 combat power. All of a sudden, his combat power increased by 20,000, which was equivalent to the effect of taking a berserk pill. However, taking a berserk pill did not have such a terrifying effect. Berserk pill can enhance strength, but the higher the cultivation, the more limited the effect of the enhancement. What a terrifying murderous aura! Is this the true strength of old ancestor Qing Tianlong? Shi Shuiyun and the others had successfully killed those crazy practitioners and they all ran over, but as soon as the three elders approached, they felt that their minds were affected. They all shook their heads, trying to drive out the murderous aura. Don't try to be brave, quickly retreat, leave this place to me and Tengyin. Shi Shuiyun saw their situation and quickly let them retreat. Their cultivation was not low, but for Qing Tianlong's current situation, it was too low, and they could not resist this terrifying murderous aura. The three elders did not think much. They nodded and quickly retreated, not daring to continue to approach. They all knew their limits. If they were to forcefully break through, they would only be a burden. Shi Shuiyun didn't move closer. She stood behind Yi Tianyun and watched. She did not seem to be making any moves, but her heart was hanging by her throat. If anything were to happen, she would risk everything to save Yi Tianyun. At this moment, Yi Tianyun turned his head and smiled at her, but did not say anything. Then, he turned his head back and looked at Qing Tianlong, saying in a deep voice, "That's right, it's time to end, but you will be ended." "I want to end it? This was the biggest joke in the world. I will massacre your Jade Palace. From now on, there will no longer be a Jade Palace." Qing Tianlong's eyes were bloodshot and his murderous intent soared to the sky. The blood-ray godly saber in his hand trembled continuously as if it was thirsty and thirsty for blood. Then, he picked up the crimson light divine blade and charged over. He stomped on the ground like a god of death. The terrifying pressure caused people's hearts to turn cold. Yi Tianyun checked his attributes, and the detailed data immediately appeared in front of him. Player, Yi Tianyun level, 27, 7th level core condensation, EXP, 128728 crazy point prestige, 70 points cultivation technique, Dark North divine art, Dragon God secret art martial arts, Absorbing stars great technique, Sky cloud step, 10,000 swords return to origin weapon, Frost fist, Scarlet dagger, Wind chasing blade, Heavenly wind blade armor, Snow wolf battle boots, Divine armor, Shadow cloak divine ability, Crazy mode, Luck aura bloodline, Dragon God bloodline ornaments, Forging God hammer, Power bracelet, Power ring, Power belt all items, 18 recovery pill, 5 double EXP pill, Gift pack LV 31120. 000 crazy point. After killing so many elders and deacons, his crazy point increased by a lot. This is the effect of double crazy point card. It allows him to accumulate so many crazy point quickly. What he needs to do now is to use up this batch of crazy point. Crazy mode, level up. Ding, successfully deducted 100,000 crazy point, level up crazy mode. Ding, successfully upgraded crazy mode, level up crazy mode, level up 2 crazy mode, all effects are enhanced by 4 times. Every minute consumes 100 crazy point. The next level requires 1 million crazy point to level up. Dragon God bloodline, level up. Ding, successfully deducted 10,000 crazy point, level up Dragon God bloodline. Ding, successfully upgraded Dragon God bloodline, level up 2 Dragon God bloodline. The next level requires 100,000 crazy point. He upgraded the Dragon God bloodline and crazy mode at once. These were the skills that could improve his strength. As for using them in the lottery, there was no need for that. The things he obtained require too much proficiency. Even if he uses double proficiency card, he can't level it up quickly. In the blink of an eye, his crazy point is empty, but the skills are upgraded, the power is naturally extraordinary. Go all out. Yi Tianyun growled. Crazy mode was automatically turned off when he leveled up. Now it is reactivated. The effect of quadruple damage directly rose up. With a loud bang, his combat power directly shot up, rising in a straight line. 60,000, 70,000, 100,000, 110,000, 120,000, 130,000. Finally, Yi Tianyun stopped at 130,000 combat power. This was based on his 7th level core condensation stage cultivation. Suddenly, his cultivation reached 130,000, directly crushing the Azure Sky Dragon. But is it over? Of course not. When Dragon God bloodline was upgraded, it was also turned off. The dragon scales on his body quickly faded. making sure Shueyun and others think that Yi Tianyun has reached his limit. Dragon God Bloodline, open. A flash passed through Yi Tianyun's eyes, as if a giant dragon collapsed in his eyes. The dragon scales on his body emerged again, harder and more overbearing than before. An even stronger dragon might was unleashed from his body. After the Dragon God Bloodline was opened, his combat power soared again. 140,000. 150,000. 160,000. Finally, after soaring to 160,000 combat power, it stopped. The terrifying combat power is really amazing. From the initial 30,000 to 40,000 combat power, after using Crazy Mode and Dragon God Bloodline, the effect soared up by almost 5 times. Reaching 160,000 combat power, what's the big deal about fighting above levels? This is crazy enough. At the moment of eruption, Yi Tianyun stepped on the ground. With a bang, he turned into a giant dragon and roared. This speed is really too fast. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Azure Sky Dragon, waved his fist covered with dragon scales, and fiercely punched. Azure Sky Dragon quickly reacted, but everything is too late. Whether it is speed or explosive power, it is far inferior to Yi Tianyun. All he can do is quickly block the bloody light divine saber in front of him. Boom! Yi Tianyun completely ignored the bloody light divine saber and heavily punched the bloody light divine saber. The terrifying power made Azure Sky Dragon unable to grasp the bloody light divine saber. Following that, the crimson light divine saber was punched into Qing Tianlong's body. Qing Tianlong was like a rubber ball that was sent flying. Under this terrifying punch, he was ruthlessly sent flying. With a potch sound, he was stuck to the wall. Boom! The hard wall couldn't hold for too long. The next moment, Azure Sky Dragon smashed a big hole and flew out of the hall. Chapter 70. With just one punch, Qing Tianlong was sent flying away. Even the hard wall of the hall was smashed through and a big hole was formed. Since the Azure Sky Dragon had sent him flying, the baleful aura on his body was interrupted. The baleful aura that filled the entire hall quickly disappeared. Yi Tianyun quickly chased after Qing Tianlong. Shi Shueyun and the others were stunned for a moment and immediately chased after Qing Tianlong. Qing Tianlong, who was sent flying, rolled a few times in the air and floated down. But his body was a little unstable. When he landed on the ground, he half knelt down. He couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. It looked even redder and more terrifying. His face became extremely pale. Originally, in order to stimulate the evil qi in his body, he had already consumed a lot of blood essence. Now that he was hit by a punch, it caused his internal organs to be shattered and directly caused him to suffer a lot of injuries. Fortunately, he used the bloody light divine blade as a shield to block the attack. Otherwise, his body would have exploded. Who's going to end who now? Yi Tianyun came out of the hall and walked step by step. His dragon might shrouded the surroundings, and the baleful aura couldn't get close to him at all. The baleful aura was destroyed by the dragon might. Qing Tianlong suddenly looked up. His eyes were filled with horror. He didn't expect that Yi Tianyun's cultivation could reach this level. It was simply terrifying. His cultivation was comparable to the peak of core condensation, which was a lot higher than him. How could he fight against him? You, how did you suddenly soar so much? What kind of evil technique did you use? Qing Tianlong's body trembled. He couldn't even stand steadily. Even if there were no problems, the result could not be changed. The power that Yi Tianyun showed was too overbearing. He couldn't withstand it at all. What does this have to do with you? Tianyun stomped on the ground. With a loud bang, a big pit was formed on the ground. He raised his fist and punched again. I'll kill you. Qing Tianlong roared and stood up abruptly. He waved the bloody light divine blade in his hand and slashed towards Yi Tianyun. A blood-red blade light whistled through the air, suddenly transforming into a huge blood-red demon, swinging its sharp claws towards Yi Tianyun. Break! A huge dragon flashed past Yi Tianyun's eyes as he charged forward. He didn't do much, he just directly crashed into it. With a loud bang, the blood-colored devil exploded into a cloud of blood mist. It didn't cause any damage to him. After passing through, Yi Tianyun appeared in front of Qing Tianlong. He swung his fist and punched Qing Tianlong's chest. He roared, "This punch belongs to Auntie." Qing Tianlong wanted to raise the Blood Ray Divine Saber again to block, but it was too slow this time. A heavy fist smashed over, and with a dong sound, Qing Tianlong was sent flying. His entire chest had caved in. Even if he was wearing a supreme-grade spiritual armor, it was of no use. His chest was still caved in. Pucci, he looked up to the sky and spat out a mouthful of blood. This time, his body was stiff and he couldn't move at all. He was sent flying, and even his consciousness was blurred. "Open!" Yi Tianyun roared. He stomped on the ground again and transformed into a huge dragon to chase after Qing Tianlong. In the blink of an eye, he caught up with Qing Tianlong. He clenched his fists and smashed them towards Qing Tianlong. "This punch belongs to Auntie. How dare you hurt my auntie? You deserve to die." Boom! The Azure Sky Dragon was smashed down and smashed into the ground. Boom! Like a meteorite, he smashed into the ground. With a loud bang, Qing Tianlong was smashed into the ground. The originally hard ground now had a large pit. Qing Tianlong's body was limp and paralyzed on the ground. His eyes were blurred, and he was only left with one breath. "Tianyun?" Shi Shuiyun covered her mouth. She couldn't help but cry. This is the man she used to protect, and now it's his turn to protect her. He already has the power to stand on his own. He has surpassed them and no longer needs her protection. But when she thought about it carefully, she felt happy and sad at the same time. Happy because Yi Tianyun has a strong force, sad because Yi Tianyun no longer needs her. Wing sect will not let you go," Qing Tianlong said with a trembling voice. "Don't worry, Wing sect, Wind Pavilion, Spirit sect, I will eradicate them one by one," Tianyun said coldly. "Uproot them all." After saying that, he lifted his foot and stomped down. With a loud bang, the Azure Sky Dragon no longer had any signs of life. It was completely dead. Ding, successfully killed Qing Tianlong, got 500,000 EXP, Martial Art, Blood Fiend Soaring Sky, Blood Fiend Divine Spear, Low-Grade Soul Tool, Blood Fiend Bracelet, Low-Grade Soul Tool, Blacksmith Mastery 1000, Crazy Point 4000. Ding, completed the kill of target, got 10 lottery chances, 100,000 Crazy Point. Ding, successfully completed the quest, Protect Jade Palace, Resist the Enemy, reward, 100,000 EXP, 100,000 gold, 1 lottery chance, 100 favorability increase. The rewards dropped like crazy. 2 soul armaments dropped. This is something he didn't expect. While everyone else was frantically fighting over the soul tools, he was able to drop these 2 soul tools. It was truly shocking. Although it is a low-grade soul tool, but at least it is a soul tool. In addition, there is also the reward of killing target, got 10 lottery chances, which is equivalent to 10,000 crazy point in another way. This makes Yi Tianyun feel pity he can't get the extra level up, that's the best. But since it is extra, he won't ask for too much. After all, he got 2 soul tools, so what else is there to ask for? As expected of the super elite level, the reward is really much better than those small fries. Yi Tianyun is still very satisfied, but the most important thing is to protect Jade Palace. This is more important than anything else. After killing Qing Tianlong, Shi Shuiyun ran over, knocked his head lightly, and snorted, "Don't think I will forgive you for not coming back before." Tianyun scratched his head embarrassedly and smirked, "Aunt, this is nothing. I saved Jade Palace." "So what if I saved you? It's a different matter. I didn't hear from you before, and I thought you were in an accident." Shi Shuiyun's eyes are red, thinking of the previous worry, but tears fall down. Yi Tianyun hugged Shi Shuiyun and comforted her. "It's okay, how can I die? You don't know how powerful I am, no matter how many come, I will kill them all. I am powerful, I will definitely protect Aunt from any harm in the future." He said this from the bottom of his heart. Shi Shuiyun has always protected him, now it is his turn to protect Shi Shuiyun. Humph! Just a few words of praise and you are panting? After Shi Shuiyun came out of his arms, she snorted and immediately smiled like a beautiful crabapple flower. This feeling, but it's not bad. Chapter 71. The matter of 3 great sects besieging Jade Palace has finally come to an end. This news quickly spread out, and all the forces in this area were shocked. A first-level faction killed all the people sent by 3 great sects, and its 3 great sect masters. 3 great sect masters are dead. What is left of these sects? The rest are a group of young people. As for what kind of power they have, no one knows. But the heritage of 3 great sects is definitely not as simple as they think. In the conference hall of Jade Palace. I want to make Tianyun an elder. I don't know if you have any opinion? Shi Shuiyun looked at everyone. All of them are elders and deacons. They are all sitting here with a dignified expression. No opinion? Everyone nodded, indicating that they have no opinion. Tianyun saved the entire Jade Palace this time, and his cultivation is so high, even Shi Shuiyun is not as good as him. Even if it's an exception, she will make Tianyun an elder. I have an opinion. Everyone looked up and found that the person who spoke is Tianyun himself. Palace Lord, I think it's better to be an outer disciple. We can't break the rules. I think it's good to be an outer disciple, and I'm not good at managing the palace. Tianyun thought they gathered to talk about something. He didn't expect that the first thing they want to talk about is to make him an elder. It's not easy to be an elder. There are a lot of things to do. He doesn't want to get involved in these things. You have to do it. There is no such thing as breaking the rules. Rules are dead. People are alive. You just need to change it. You don't need to manage anything. We just need to prove that you are a member of our Jade Palace and represent our Jade Palace. Do you think I don't know your ability? Shi Shuiyun rolled her eyes at him. She doesn't want Tianyun to manage anything from the beginning. Other elders nodded. They don't trust Tianyun to manage other things in Jade Palace. But when Tianyun saw that Shi Shuiyun was glaring at him, he immediately deflated and said helplessly, "All right then, I'll take the elder's seat." The surrounding disciples couldn't help but laugh. Others couldn't wait to become an elder, but he didn't want to. All right, then let's move on to the second matter. This time, we killed the 3 sect lords. Those old bastards will definitely make a move. Although Wind Pavilion is not a big sect, but their background is not bad. I heard that they are in cahoots with Wing sect. I'm sure they won't let this go. Shi Shuiyun said solemnly, that's why we have to be prepared for battle. From the beginning, they've been eyeing our treasures. They've been looking for all sorts of excuses to attack us. In the end, they still want our treasures. The treasure of the palace? Tianyun was stunned. He doesn't know what it is, but he didn't ask. It has nothing to do with him anyway. The third matter, I intend to give this treasure to Tianyun. I don't know what you think? Shi Shuiyun suddenly said. Tianyun was immediately stunned. Why did she suddenly give it to him? Palace Lord, you can't do this. The treasure of the palace has always been something that only the Palace Lord can use. This is obviously against the rules. Great Elder immediately stood up. She doesn't object to other things, but this matter is different. Although Tianyun has become an elder, he is still technically an outsider. The Palace Lord is the most qualified to use it. He is stronger than me. It is reasonable to give it to him. The effect will undoubtedly be stronger. Shi Shuiyun said, if the 3 major sects attack again, then he will definitely have a miraculous effect. The elders all went silent. What Shi Shuiyun said is true. They have all seen the power of Tianyun, so they really can't say anything against it. Wait, what treasure is this? Tianyun raised his hand. After talking for a long time, he still doesn't know what the treasure of the palace is. This is it. Shi Shuiyun took out a jade pendant. A faint cold air emitted from it. Just when it was taken out, it made everyone feel cold. The extreme cold air means that this thing is not simple. This is... Tianyun squinted his eyes, and the detailed data immediately appeared in front of him. Ice Soul Jade. Effect. Can calm the soul, increase the speed of cultivation when used, can also form a freezing field, freeze everything in the surroundings. Grade. Middle Grade Soul Tool. Middle Grade Soul Tool. No wonder it is called the treasure of the palace. It is indeed qualified. Tianyun nodded, but he wasn't interested in it. Sure, Shuayun said to let him use it, no doubt because she felt that if he used that freezing field, the effect would be even more amazing. This is Ice Soul Jade. Not only will it help your cultivation, it can also use the freezing effect. Previously, you used the freezing martial art. If combined with this, it will definitely have a miraculous effect. Sure, Shuayun smiled and said, "This thing is given out just like that. She does not intend to keep it. After all, it can increase the speed of cultivation. It is definitely a good thing." "Palace Master, I don't need it, to be honest. It is useless to me. You should keep it," Lee Tianyun said in a deep voice. "Moreover, in terms of physique, Palace Master, you have the cold physique. It is more suitable for me. I do not have the cold physique, so it is not suitable for me. Take it." Sure, Shuayun is still so overbearing. Lee Tianyun is also overbearing. Sure, Shuayun is stubborn. Lee Tianyun is also stubborn. Sure, Shuayun looked at Lee Tianyun's firm eyes, finally can only sigh. "Well, then I will take it." This time, the elders are relieved. Fortunately, it did not fall into the hands of Lee Tianyun. They treat this thing as a treasure, but Lee Tianyun does not treat it as a treasure. Isn't it just a middle-grade soul tool? He has 3 soul tools, although they are not middle grade, but at least they are soul tools. Now let's talk about the 4th thing, that is the heavens immersing ancient ruins. As you can see, this time we killed the people of the 2 sects and obtained 7 tokens. This means that we have 7 more people to enter the trial. In less than a week, we can go to the trial. Now choose 8 outstanding disciples, and then enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins trial. Sure, Shuayun smiled. The heavens immersing ancient ruins trial is a good thing. After coming out, there will be a great breakthrough. Choose 8 again? Lee Tianyun said, "What about me?" The elders looked at him strangely. Immediately Sure Shuayun smiled and said, "You can't enter. You are a core condensation cultivator. You can't enter at all. Heavens immersing ancient ruins can only be entered by spirit refinement cultivators. Higher than that, you can't enter. If I can't enter, how can I complete the main quest?" Chapter 72. The main quest is still there. He can't enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins. How can he complete it? This is the only main quest. He knows the importance of the main quest. If he can't complete the main quest, he can't continue. How can he complete the main quest in the future? Is it possible that I can't complete the main quest even if my level is too high? Lee Tianyun thinks this is very unreasonable. If his level is higher, wouldn't it be easier to complete the main quest? But he knows that Sure Shuayun won't lie to him. Those who are higher than spirit refinement realm can't enter the ancient ruins. They don't know what Lee Tianyun is thinking. Sure Shuayun comforted him. "Your cultivation is already so high, there's no point in going in. You can't achieve the purpose of the trial. Only those who are in spirit refinement realm can have a better effect." Lee Tianyun showed a bitter smile. What else can he say now? Who told him to exceed the main quest? If that's the case, how am I supposed to complete this mission and this main mission? The next discussion is to decide the other slots. Suddenly the number of slots increased to 8. It's really exciting. In addition to a lot of tokens, there are also many treasures, such as the blood-killing banner. Originally these spoils are Lee Tianyun's. He doesn't want most of them, only a few, such as the blood-killing divine sword. After the discussion, he returned to his room, feeling a little depressed. He has been worrying about how to complete the main quest. If this continues, he won't be able to complete it in this life? Don't think too much, let's draw the lottery first. Lee Tianyun didn't think too much. Anyway, it's useless to think too much. He can only think about it when the time comes. Immediately, he focused his attention on the lottery, a total of 11 lottery draws. This is definitely the first time in history that he can draw so many lottery draws. With a thought, a roulette appeared in front of him. No one can see this roulette except him. Luck aura, activate. The premise of the lottery draw is to activate the luck aura, otherwise the probability of drawing the consumable is too high. Start the lottery draw. After activating the luck aura, he immediately began to draw the lottery. The lottery roulette began to spin rapidly, and soon, the needle stopped firmly on the consumable. What the hell? Consumable, Lee Tianyun felt helpless. After activating the lucky halo, he still received a consumable item. Gulong obtained 10,000 experience pills. 10,000 experience pills. This is a bit too much. Again, 10,000 experience pills was far too lacking for the experience he needed right now. However, his luck was bad, so he had no choice but to draw this thing. Gulp obtained 50,000 experience pills. Again! I've obtained a life. What? Itianyun was shocked. The sudden information that popped up shocked him. When he saw the HP *1 in his inventory, he was dumbfounded. Life can be rewarded? He immediately began to investigate, and the effect of the life attribute was immediately displayed. Life automatically activates upon death, instantly revives. Good stuff. Itianyun suddenly slapped his thigh. The pain made him grimace and gasp. This was definitely a top-notch consumable. What was the most important thing? Treasure? No, it's life. Directly getting a life means that when he dies, he can automatically activate it and revive with full health. It seems that not all consumables are useless. Itianyun looked at the roulette and sighed. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Give me more of this thing, the more the better. He certainly doesn't mind the number of consumables. This is more useful than any treasure. How can he complain about more? Again. Soon the roulette began to spin again, and under his anticipation, it finally stopped at the divine skill type. His heart skipped a beat. This time it is a divine skill. I wonder what kind of divine skill will I get? Gulp dash something rolled down, and then the treasure chest opened, and what appeared in front of him was luck aura. What? Luck again? Itianyun was dumbfounded. What's the point of having more luck aura? Successfully obtained luck aura. Because you already have luck aura, 10,000 crazy points will be given instead. Damn. Try to upgrade luck aura. Itianyun rolled his eyes. It's only 10,000 crazy points. It's more like upgrading one level. After that, he quickly drew the rest of the rewards. There were quite a few good things that dropped. Roughly speaking, they were HPX1, 10,000 EXPX1, 50,000 EXP Pill X3, Frost Fist, Silver Phoenix Spear, Luck Aura, Tyrant God's Armor, Bad Luck Pill, Power Strengthening Pill. All the items in the 11 lottery are listed out. Among them, the most expensive ones are the 10,000 EXP Pill and Frost Fist. He already has Frost Fist, but it doesn't turn into Crazy Point like Lucky Aura, but it will appear in his inventory. But there are still a lot of good things. Tyrant God Armor, the effect is to maintain the state of pressure for 1 minute, suppressing the enemy. Useless. Phoenix Silver Spear, it's just a simple upper-grade spirit tool, useless. Bad Luck Divine Pill, can be thrown to the enemy, or taken by myself, the effect of bad luck will be increased by 10 times. What is this thing, who should I give it to? Strength Strengthening Pill, permanently enhance strength. This is a good thing, permanent enhancement. Itianyun checked the items one by one, some are very useless, some are very good. For example, life, and this Strength Strengthening Pill. Immediately he took the Strength Strengthening Pill and found that his combat power slightly increased by a few hundred. The increase is too little, he felt that his body is slightly strengthened. Although it is very little, but it is already good, just a small pill, how much can it enhance? But what is the use of this Frost Fist? The grade is still ordinary iron level. Itianyun frowned. This is embarrassing. The lottery often draws garbage. This sentence is not wrong. Immediately he clicked on the inventory. The inventory is actually equivalent to the storage ring. It can store anything. It can store things in the real world. There is no difficulty at all. When he checked the Frost Fist, he moved it a bit and found that there are 2 more options on the Frost Fist, Fusion and Sell. There is Fusion and Sale? I didn't look at it carefully before. When Itianyun clicked Sell, a message popped up and a message appeared. Selling price is 500 crazy point. Are you willing to sell? Prefer. Itianyun silently cursed in his heart. When he bought it in the mall, it cost 10,000 crazy point. But selling it here is only worth 500 crazy point, it is a loss. Let's try the fusion effect. Itianyun reached out, and the Frost Fist in the inventory immediately combined with the Spirit Tool level Frost Fist on the side. The level did not increase, but the proficiency increased. Chapter 73. This is really interesting. The fusion effect can improve proficiency. I don't know if other weapons can do this, but let's see how much the price is, so as not to lose money. Before fusing, he first checked if he can sell it for a high price. If it exceeds a lot, then it will be a loss. Phoenix Silver Spear, price is 500 crazy point. Are you willing to sell? Sell your ass, get lost. Tianyun rolled his eyes. He didn't expect a high-grade spirit tool only worth 500 crazy point here. It's a loss. But thinking about it carefully, if the price of the things is very high, it will be unlimited, which will become a big loophole. Forget it, let's try fusing. Tianyun clicked on the Phoenix Silver Spear. There is also a fusion and sell symbol. He clicked on fusion. But this time the situation is a bit different. A pop-up window will pop up, showing a line of message. Which weapon is the main weapon, which is the secondary weapon? Of course, Frost Fist. Phoenix Silver Spear has no effect. Immediately after Feng clicked on it, the Silver Phoenix Spear transformed into a ball of energy and merged with the Frost Fist. The Frost Fist's proficiency had increased by 500 proficiency from the original 1100 proficiency to 1600 proficiency. Good, very good. Tianyun felt very satisfied. This is the effect he wanted. Immediately he also fused the Tyrant God armor. Although it is a weapon and also a defensive tool, it can still be fused into proficiency, increasing 300 proficiency. This is not bad. I don't know how to sell the spoils of war. Tianyun has a lot of miscellaneous things, a lot of martial arts or ordinary iron level weapons. He doesn't need them at all. It's useless to keep them. Immediately he chose Bloody Divine Sword. This is a superb spirit tool. There are also two options, sell and fuse. When he clicked sell, a bright value appeared in front of him. 5,000 crazy point. Not bad. Tianyun's eyes lit up. Sure enough, only the spoils of war can be sold at a good price. Let's look at other martial arts. He also tried to sell those low-level martial arts. The price is different, because the grade is relatively low. Basically, he can only buy 1,000 or 2,000 crazy points. It was the same for those low-grade weapons. They all had a relatively low price, which was understandable. The grade wasn't high in the first place, so how could it be sold for a high price? However, apart from that, there was also the option of fusion, which made his eyes light up. Martial arts can be fused? Tianyun's eyes lit up. He quickly clicked on those human-level martial arts and integrated them into the Absorbing Stars Great Technique. Just as he clicked on the integration, a message popped up. The grade is too low. I can't fuse it. What? Tianyun was startled. He didn't expect it to be unable to fuse, or was it because the grade was too low? This made him puzzled. It seemed that he couldn't quickly increase his proficiency. He could only transfer the method to weapons and smash those low-grade weapons on the Frost Fist. The grade is too low, unable to fuse. When he chose those ordinary iron-grade weapons to fuse with, this message popped up again. Strange, how can it be useless? Wasn't the previous Frost Fist in ordinary iron grade? Tianyun checked and soon knew what was going on. The reason why the Frost Fist can be fused is because they are of the same breed. Different breeds can only be fused with the same grade. For example, now that the Frost Fist is a spirit tool, it can only be fused with a spirit tool. The same is true for martial arts. It can't be fused with too low a grade. It seems that I can only sell it. It's useless to keep it. I don't need it at all. Tianyun shook his head. It's like getting a pile of scrap metal. He definitely can't use it, but he can sell it to the shop and get crazy points. Although it's not a lot, it adds up. Immediately, he emptied a lot of things, leaving only the higher grade ones and replaced the rest with crazy points. He also consumed the experience pill and so on. After cleaning up, he clicked on the property bar to check the current situation. Level 27, 7th level core condensation, EXP 43728 crazy points, prestige 70 cultivation technique, Dark North divine art, Dragon God secret art martial arts, Absorbing Stars great technique, Sky Cloud step, Blood Fiend soaring heaven weapon, Frost Fist, Scarlet dagger, Wind chasing blade, Blood Fiend divine spear armor, Snow Wolf Battle Boots, Deity Armor, Shadow Cloak Divine Ability, Crazy Mode, Luck Aura Bloodline, Dragon God Bloodline Decoration, Forging God Hammer, Power Bracelet, Power Ring, Power Belt, Blood Fiend Bracelet. All items. 18 Recovery Pill, 5 Double EXP Pill, Gift Pack LV31, Life X1, Bad Luck Divine Pill. He didn't sell the Blood Fiend Divine Spear, but he sold the Blood Light Divine Blade. After all, he has a few thousand crazy points, and he doesn't have double crazy point card. Proficiency can take its time, there's no need to rush. I finally know what this shop is for. If there are a lot of crazy points, I can buy them and add them to my proficiency. Tianyun shook his head, looking at the horrifying price above. His heart really trembled. How rich do you have to be to spend so much crazy points to buy and add them to your proficiency? For example, the Earth-level absorbing star's great technique needs 200,000 crazy points. In fact, this is not very high, but who knows how much proficiency can be added by adding them? Even if it is only 10,000 points, it is a bit not worth it. After all, if he needs to upgrade it, he needs 10 books, which is 2 million crazy points. He can't afford it. Immediately he looked at the consumables and sure enough, he saw the life column, but the price made him dumbfounded. 1 billion crazy points. I must be really lucky to be able to get this. Let's see how much I can sell it for. Tianyun immediately tried to sell the life, and sure enough, the price did not let him disappointed. 300 crazy points. Fuck you. Tianyun is like crazy, talking to himself and stamping his feet in the room. It's worth 1 billion crazy point, but it's only worth 300 crazy point? Even if it is only sold for 100 million crazy points. With 100 million crazy points, he can definitely fatten himself up, fully armed, and immediately obtain heaven-level martial arts. Unfortunately, his dream is broken. Honestly, go out and kill monsters. Sigh. It seems that now I can only wait for heaven's immersing ancient ruins to open, then I will see how to enter. After Tianyun finished the lottery, there is nothing else he can do, except to cultivate here. But there is not much time left. He will have to go to heaven's immersing ancient ruins. Knock, knock, knock. At this time, someone knocked on his door. He looked up and immediately knew who it was. Immediately he opened the door and saw Jiolingyun. She blushed and said, "Big brother E, I will participate in the assessment tomorrow. Can I come and have a look?" I almost forgot. Tomorrow is the outer disciple assessment. You will participate, right? I will go there tomorrow to cheer you up. Tianyun said with a smile. Chapter 74. Soon it's the next day. It's the official disciple assessment of Jade Palace. Originally, the official disciple assessment isn't so urgent, but now Jade Palace needs to rapidly expand its power, so it's necessary to train a group of key disciples. A steady stream of fresh blood is the key to maintaining the operation of Jade Palace. Big brother E, I'm a little nervous. Jiolingyun next to Tianyun still feels uneasy. They are now on the way to the assessment venue. She always felt that her level is not good enough. She really has no confidence. She has been used to inferiority complex. She feels that she has no ability. Although she has been cultivating here for a long time, she still has no confidence. Jade Palace, a place that she can't even think about, it's really hard to believe. Tianyun encouraged, "Don't worry, I will be watching you. Just work hard and believe in yourself." He hasn't seen much of Jiolingyun's performance. He just feels that she has a pure heart, very hard work, and very diligent. He believes that Jiolingyun will definitely perform well. Jiolingyun heard that Tianyun will be watching her. Her heart calmed down a lot. Soon they arrived at the venue. There is already a sea of people. There are a lot of outer disciples participating in the assessment, and many of them have relatively good talent. Look, that Elder E came with that woman. I don't know how she did it. She actually has a relationship with Elder E. This is the difference between people. She looks ordinary. She doesn't have the appearance. She doesn't have the talent. She seems to be from the slums. It seems like he's from the slums. He usually lives frugally. How unsightly. Yeah, and she also brought her brother. We have to spend a lot of effort to get in, but she just got in. It's really unfair. Discordant voices came from the side. These are the outer disciples recruited from outside. It has to be said that sometimes their mouth is particularly cheap, they talk nonsense everywhere. The news that Lee Tianyun let Jiao Lingyun join Jade Palace has long been spread. They all think it's very unfair. Some people think that Lee Tianyun made a mistake. How can he find such a refugee from the slums to join Jade Palace? Jiao Lingyun naturally heard these comments, her delicate body shook, her eyes suddenly red, a feeling of inferiority suddenly welled up from her heart. There was bitterness and sorrow. Don't worry about them. Use your strength to prove yourself, and even more so, use your own efforts to fight back. Yun calmly smiled and comforted her. Got it, young master? Jiao Lingyun still did not feel comfortable. She lowered her head and did not dare to look up. Then he brought Jiao Lingyun to line up at the exam grounds. There were about a dozen people taking the exam. After all, only female disciples were accepted, so there weren't many people. However, when he brought Jiao Lingyun to the side, all kinds of discussions came from behind him, each more unpleasant than the last. I'm really envious. Just because he hooked up with Elder E, he can come to the examination. Who knows, maybe it's just a formality, but he still passed in the end. Don't be jealous. If I were Elder E, wouldn't I just let my mother in? My mother is just a farmer, she doesn't know anything. I don't know what Elder E is thinking. Why would he fall for her? Usually dirty, every piece of clothing is worn out, and you want to join Jade Palace with this level? Many outer disciples whispered to each other. If they were not afraid of Lee Tianyun's position, they would have already shouted at Jiao Lingyun to get out. Although the voice is very low, but he heard it clearly. With his level of cultivation, he can hear even the smallest voice. Lee Tianyun's eyes narrowed slightly. He has to say that these people are really jealous. They think that Jiao Lingyun got in because of her relationship with Elder E. They even think that this exam is just a formality. Even if the result is bad, he will pass. In fact, he certainly won't do this. If Jiao Lingyun doesn't meet the standard, she can only be an outer disciple, not an official disciple. Public is private, private is private, the two are different. You can say that about me, but you can't say that about Elder Brother E. Suddenly Jiao Lingyun stood up and said with red eyes, I will prove to you that I will not lose to anyone. I will come in with dignity, not because of my relationship with Elder E. Lee Tianyun didn't expect Jiao Lingyun to be so imposing. He smiled a bit. This is the kind of imposing manner, don't be timid. Being timid towards them was actually what they wanted. When they saw Lee Tianyun looking at them, they shut their mouths obediently. They didn't say anything, but the disdain and contempt on their faces were more effective than words. They didn't take Jiao Lingyun's words seriously at all. They thought that it was useless and useless. Don't mind them. This is the kind of imposing manner. Prove it to them with your strength. Lee Tianyun smiled faintly and comforted them. But Jiao Lingyun clenched her fists and didn't say much. Only with strength can you prove everything, and only then can you make them shut their mouths obediently. Immediately, Deacon Liang came to the side of the exam hall. She was the deacon in charge of the outer disciples. She bowed respectfully to Lee Tianyun. Lee Tianyun's position was much higher than hers. Then she looked at Jiao Lingyun. She wanted to say something, but she couldn't say it. It's okay. Just follow your pace. Be strict. Normal assessment standard, Lee Tianyun said with a serious face. Deacon Liang smiled and nodded gently. She also hates people who can become official disciple just by relying on their relationship. This is irresponsible to Jade Palace. Immediately, Deacon Liang introduced to everyone. This is called Soul Chakra Ray. It will constantly release spiritual attacks. You just need to persist on it. To become an official disciple, you only need to persist for 9 waves. But if you want to become an inner disciple, you need to persist for 11 waves. This time it's okay. You only need to persist for 2 waves and you can become an inner disciple. Those who haven't participated in this test think so, but those who have already participated are already desperate. It's good enough to become an official disciple. They don't expect to persist for 6 waves. In Jade Palace, there are official disciple and inner disciple. Inner disciple is more outstanding, and they are the focus of training. This time it's only 9 waves? I thought you have to persist for 13 or 14 waves. 13 or 14 waves? Don't be silly. There are too few people who can persist for 10 waves. That's right. Mental energy cultivation is much more difficult than physical strength cultivation. I remember a long time ago, in this Jade Palace, there was someone who persisted for 3 or 4 waves. Everyone is talking about it, and some people have heard some rumors. Yes, there was indeed a disciple with high talent who persisted until the 13th wave. Now he has joined the inner hall, and his ranking in the inner hall is not low. Deacon Liang patiently said, although the standard for the inner hall is the 13th wave, if any of you can persist until the 14th wave, then your reputation in the inner hall will be resounding enough, and you will soon receive the attention of the elders. As soon as this came out, the audience was in an uproar. Isn't this a bit too much? If you can persist until the 14th wave, it is normal to get the attention of the elders. Yi Tianyun smiled indifferently under the stage. This is the outer disciple assessment. The purpose is to test the spiritual power. The strength of a person's soul determines how the whole person's talent is. The stronger the soul, the stronger the attainment in all aspects. Chapter 75. No problem, believe in yourself, you are the best. Yi Tianyun nodded to Jiao Lingyun as encouragement. Big brother Yi, I won't let you down. Jiao Lingyun's tone is very firm. She doesn't want Yi Tianyun to lose face. She worked so hard for so long, it's time to repay him. Immediately she turned around and walked towards the assessment site. Yi Tianyun looked at her back and nodded gently. Because the assessment is done in batches, there are still some outer disciples waiting outside. I suspect she can only last 1 or 2 waves at most, then she will fall. If you want to become an official disciple, you have to at least last the 9th wave. Can she do it? Anyway, let's just watch. No matter what the result is, she can join Jade Palace as an official disciple. It's good to have connections. That's right. Why don't we go talk to Eldery? Forget it, I don't want to go. I want to join Jade Palace by my own ability. They think this is a fantasy. It's like asking a poor person to take out a piece of gold. It's simply impossible. But when it comes to relying on connections to join, although they say so, their eyes are constantly looking at Yi Tianyun. Soon the assessment began. After Deacon Liang announced the announcement, the spiritual power impact immediately began. Wave after wave of impact crazily rushed towards them. Soon the first wave didn't fall. If this wave also fell, it will be too shameful. Then the second wave began. They didn't have any problem surviving, including Jiao Lingyun. She easily survived. Soon the third and fourth wave crazily went on. Many outer disciples began to fall, but Jiao Lingyun is like a rock standing in the storm. No matter how many attacks hit her, she won't fall. When a lot of others fell, she can still persist. Then the fifth and sixth wave began. Many of the disciples fell one after another, but she was still standing, shocking everyone. Many outer disciples who have already quit are dumbfounded at this time. Didn't they say she came from slums? How can she be so strong? This is almost the standard of an official disciple, and it will continue to go higher. She definitely can't last the 9th wave. They recovered from their shock and immediately declared that she could not surpass the 9th wave. However, the following scene once again broke their bottom line and completely destroyed the line of defense in their hearts. The 9th wave was easily passed by her. At this time, there were only 3 people who could still persevere. This meant that she had passed the test and became one of the 4. However, everything was not over yet. The assessment was still ongoing. However, the situation outside was already in an uproar, a complete uproar. The outer sect disciples who had previously mocked her for entering through connections were now as ugly as they could be. This was a complete slap in the face. His ability was not weak at all. Most importantly, she didn't stop. She continued crazily. After the 9th wave ended, she went on to the 10th wave. She still persisted. When it came to the 11th wave, she was the only one left in the entire assessment grounds, like a crane in a flock of chickens. The overall standard of an outer disciple was not considered high. Otherwise, they would not be classified as an outer disciple. Being able to become an inner hall disciple was really a bit of a fantasy. Not bad. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. Only Jiao Lingyun was left. The outer sect disciples who had fainted from the mental impact stared at Jiao Lingyun with wide eyes after they woke up. Who told them that she entered through connections? If she entered through connections, how could she have such a standard? This was the real deal. Those who said that she was defeated in the first few waves were now extremely embarrassed. Now that she had persisted until the 11th wave, this result could not be said to be very shocking. At least among this batch of newcomers, she was already a top-notch existence. The key point was that it was not over yet. She still persisted. Jiao Lingyun's expression had already changed, but she was still able to persist a little. However, when she finally passed the 12th wave, she was defeated. Persisted until the 11th wave. The eye-catching result was even more shocking. A person who had previously been said to have entered through connections had actually achieved such an unbelievable result. She did not create a record, but she used her strength to prove that she absolutely crushed the others. I don't know how some people's eyes grew. I suspect that they grew from the soles of their feet. Yi Tianyun said faintly on the side. This result was still unexpected to him. He did not expect Jiao Lingyun's soul level to be so strong. Persisting to the 11th wave wasn't anything special, it was just that the difference in cultivation was too great. Too many people were locked by this cultivation thinking. Jiao Lingyun's cultivation was only at the 2nd or 3rd level of the body refinement stage, but it did not mean that her spiritual power level was poor. Now with a strong power, she fiercely fought back against everyone. She did cut the line and saved a lot of steps, which seemed unfair. But with such a strong level, cutting the line undoubtedly saved a lot of time. This was the privilege of a genius. No matter where, there will be this privilege of a genius. Climbing up step by step will only waste time. Entering a suitable area at once, then the cultivation will be faster, and there is no need to waste so much time. Yeah, who just said that she came in through connections? This is all based on strength. God, did she rely on connections to get in? Are you sure she's from the slums? Why do I feel that it is not possible? Can the slums have this level? They were about to cry. Persisting for 11 waves was already enough to become an inner disciple, far crushing their existence. At this time, Jiao Lingyun has already come down from the assessment field, rushed over, and directly threw herself into the arms of Yi Tianyun, and cried tears of joy. "Big brother Yi, I did it, I did it." She cried so excitedly, and her delicate body kept trembling. Everything was so difficult. This time, she did not let Yi Tianyun lose face, but won the first place perfectly. "I knew you would do well." Yi Tianyun reached out and patted her back. He could understand this kind of feeling. When everyone was not optimistic about her, she finally broke out and got her own dignity. Soon Jiao Lingyun remembered that she threw herself into the arms of Yi Tianyun, and hurriedly got up from his arms, blushing and embarrassed. Yi Tianyun didn't care about this. He reached out and rubbed her little head, smiled and said, "Congratulations on joining Jade Palace. This time you officially joined Jade Palace. You will be a member of Jade Palace in the future?" Jiao Lingyun nodded vigorously and said happily, "Big brother Yi, thank you." Chapter 76. Jiao Lingyun's performance really shocked everyone. They didn't expect that the person brought back by Yi Tianyun could have such an amazing performance, which made many people feel ashamed. She directly joined the inner hall. Previously, they said that she could only last 2 or 3 rounds at most, but now her face is probably swollen. Is this the so-called relying on relationships? It was obvious that she had joined based on her own strength, and not because of her so-called connections. However, Tianyun was also very surprised. This result was beyond his expectations. He didn't expect Jiao Lingyun to be so talented in this aspect, and she is also the outstanding type. Ding! Congratulations on completing the hidden task, Saintess Preliminary Training. Gained 50,000 experience points. Jiao Lingyun's favorability increased by 30 prestige points. The system's voice suddenly came, and Yi Tianyun was shocked. Saintess Preliminary Training Task? What is this situation? Is Jiao Lingyun a saintess? Yi Tianyun looked down at Jiao Lingyun, and his eyes were full of shock. "Lingyun, Are you a saintess? What saintess? Jiao Lingyun was puzzled. She didn't know what Yi Tianyun was talking about. Do your parents know about this? Yi Tianyun asked. I didn't have parents since I was a child. I grew up in the slums with my younger brother. Jiao Lingyun shook her head. She didn't feel sad when she talked about this matter. She didn't have any feelings, so why should she feel sad? Is your younger brother biological? Yi Tianyun asked. My younger brother is not biological, I picked him up. Young Master Yi, how do you know he is not my biological brother? Jiao Lingyun wondered. This is just a casual question, don't worry about it. Yi Tianyun laughed and didn't continue to pursue it, but he had other ideas in his heart. So, Jiao Lingyun may be a saintess, or was abandoned here by a sect. This is very likely. In terms of talent, he was already a rising star. Perhaps she didn't create a record, but in terms of cultivation, she has already created a record. The person who set the record at the beginning had a cultivation base above the 8th or 9th level of the body refinement stage, which was a kind of entry test. Jiao Lingyun had just joined the sect not long ago, and it was already amazing that she could reach this level. But your cultivation is too low, otherwise I would have let you enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Tianyun felt that this was very interesting. If Jiao Lingyun could continue to be nurtured, she could really become a holy maiden. Who knew how great the rewards would be? This was a special grooming quest. No, I'm already very happy to join Jade Palace. Being able to enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins as soon as you joined will definitely be gossiped about. Jiao Lingyun shook her head. She doesn't think she's qualified to participate in the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Even if her cultivation is high enough, she's still a newcomer. She thinks that it'll make things difficult for Yi Tianyun. Don't belittle yourself, your talent is very good, you have proven yourself just now, but your cultivation is a bit lacking. Rest assured, there will be a lot of opportunities in the future, work hard, and if you need anything, come to me. Yi Tianyun smiled at her. He wants to train Jiao Lingyun well, she's a holy maiden. The system definitely won't lie to him, this is a hidden quest. Immediately after explaining some things, Yi Tianyun let her busy herself with other things. She just officially joined Jade Palace. There are still a lot of things to do. In a blink of an eye, it's time to go to the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Jade Palace has organized 8 outstanding disciples. Qin Shui and the others are among them. Is the heavens immersing ancient ruins ready to open? Yi Tianyun asked. Yes, this time you will lead the team and Great Elder will assist you. I don't need to go, I'll stay in Jade Palace. Shi Shuiyun said. If all of them go, this place will be empty, and if Wing's sect takes advantage of this, it'll be troublesome. But if they don't go, heavens immersing ancient ruins is a rare opportunity, they will miss it. Is this okay, if those old bastards from Wing's sect come? Tianyun said worriedly. Don't worry, we have already let Grand Elder and the others wake up, we are not afraid of them coming. Our Jade Palace is not a pushover. Shi Shuiyun said coldly. Yi Tianyun was silent for a while. In fact, he would like to personally visit those sects, so as to avoid future trouble. But those sects are too far away, and if someone intrudes into their territory, it's really not easy to deal with. His cultivation is good, but it doesn't mean he can go in and out of these old forces at will. It's better to improve his cultivation first. But there is no good place to improve his cultivation. There are some ordinary demon beasts. Killing them won't give him any experience. Well, if there is something, immediately send us a message. Tianyun said, no matter who it is, I will make them stay here. Well, do you think those old guys will come out whenever they want? They are all about to die, maybe they are hiding in there. Shi Shuiyun said with a smile, it's getting late, let's go. Well, unfortunately I can't go inside. Yi Tianyun shook his head. You have such high cultivation, what are you going to do in there? Shi Shuiyun tapped his forehead and said with a smile, don't be so sad, there is nothing special in there. She didn't know that what Yi Tianyun is really worried about is his main quest. Well, let's go now. When they came outside the palace, the elders are already ready, because there are a lot of extra spots. Second elders wish to let her disciple participate in the heavens immersing ancient ruins was finally fulfilled, and this spot is given to her favorite disciple. Without saying much, they all got on the carriage and began to rush towards the direction of the heavens immersing ancient ruins. After a few days of travel, they finally arrived at the location of the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Lee Dan-yun can see the endless mountain range from afar. At the foot of the mountain, there are many carriages parked on the side. They gathered in a small group and seemed to be discussing something. As they get closer, Lee Dan-yun finally saw the true face of the heavens immersing ancient ruins. This heavens immersing ancient ruins is built in the middle of the mountain range. There is a huge gate in the middle of the mountain range. Inside is a huge ancient ruins. Before he even got close, Lee Dan-yun felt a very heavy pressure coming towards him, full of majesty. This feeling is like the world has changed, 10,000 years have passed in the blink of an eye. This heavens immersing ancient ruins must have existed for a long time. It has always been used as a place for trial. Each force has a fixed quota, and this quota is entered through this token. Without this token, even if one's cultivation is qualified, they can't enter. Chapter 77. When Lee Dan-yun and the others got off the carriage, they immediately saw several figures. They are from several forces. Looking up, they are all very good forces, but they are all second-level sect level. Third-level sect will not participate in this matter. The main reason is that they don't care about this heavens immersing ancient ruins. It's too low level. They can easily replace this heavens immersing ancient ruins. For those below second-level sect, this is a piece of fat meat. Their appearance immediately attracted the attention of everyone, and they looked straight at them with strange eyes. The three major forces were eradicated by Jade Palace. This kind of power made them a bit shocked. Some are surprised, some are in awe. Jade Palace is only a first-level sect. How can they have such terrifying power? Did those old bastards crawl out? They didn't know that the three major forces were all killed by Lee Dan-yun. This news was sealed, and it was Shi Shuayun who ordered it. Not many people knew at the beginning, and most of them were close friends, so most of them didn't know that Lee Dan-yun is so strong. It's good for them to keep a low profile, so they didn't say anything about Lee Dan-yun. After these forces learned about it, they were shocked. They have a sense of fear and awe for Jade Palace. Therefore, they are calm. They believe that after the news spread, those old bastards of Wing sect will have to weigh their own power. Basically, all here are second-level sect. There is no first-level sect. Lee Dan-yun glanced at the number of people is not small, according to the power of the sect to determine the quota. The bigger the force, the more quota. So the number of people added up to at least 30 or 40 people, which is not a small number. But Jade Palace occupied 8 spots. This advantage is even more terrifying. It can be said that among all the forces present, they have the most number of people. It makes them very jealous. From the point of view of cultivation, most of them are around 5th or 6th level of spirit refinement realm. The higher level has reached 7th or 8th level of spirit refinement realm. Some even reached the peak level. They suppressed their cultivation and didn't break through, just to wait for the opening of heavens immersing ancient ruins. Before breaking through to core condensation, it is also a very good choice to practice in heavens immersing ancient ruins. The most important thing is that they happened to see the opening of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, so they came here to try it out. Yes, our Jade Palace is a bit special. Under normal circumstances, only second-level faction is qualified to enter here. The first elder explained from the side, although we are a first-grade faction, in terms of overall strength, we are already stronger than most second-grade factions. It's just that we don't have enough people. Otherwise, we would have no problem becoming a second-grade force. Lee Dan-yun nodded. The biggest difference between Jade Palace and other forces is the number of people, which is related to the implementation of female cultivators. Palace Master sure didn't come this time. At this moment, Grandmaster Hua Xian of the Heaven and Earth sect walked over. When the other disciples caught sight of him, they could not help but sigh in their hearts. What an elegant and refined man! Not only did he look like he had an elegant demeanor, his friendliness was pretty decent as well. Although it was Lee Dan-yun who had the final say on the inside, it was the great elder who was in charge here. So it's sect leader Hua Huan. Palace leader sure has some matters to attend to, so she can't come here for the time being. I'll be in charge here. So that's how it is. I heard that the 3 major forces attacked Jade Palace, but in the end, they were destroyed. The strength of the old ancestors of your palace is really unfathomable. Sect leader Hua Huan said tentatively. That's right, the strength of our old ancestors is naturally not simple. Great Elder smiled faintly and said, although Jade Palace is a first-grade faction, its foundation over the years is not bad. Her words are half true and half false. She's just putting up a smokescreen to make them think that Jade Palace's foundation is really amazing. She didn't hide anything in her voice, not far away from the forces heard it. They have long been paying attention here, waiting to hear Great Elder's answer. So that's how it is, then it's really the misfortune of those 3 forces, provoking Jade Palace. They really overestimate themselves. Sect leader Hua Huan smiled and immediately satirized them, which is equivalent to flattering Jade Palace in disguise. After the exploration, it's almost time for heaven's immersing ancient ruins to open. Boom! All of a sudden, the entire mountain range began to tremble as if an earthquake had occurred. The entire region began to shake. Originally, they wanted to say something, but now there's no more time to discuss. Accompanied by a violent tremor, the door slowly opened, revealing a ray of light. A desolate power surged out from within, causing them to feel a sense of desolation. The gate is ready to open. They all gathered together, heaven's immersing ancient ruins is ready to open, and they will go in soon. The opening time of heaven's immersing ancient ruins is fixed, it's every 3 years, and it's fixed in July. If they miss this time, they will have to wait for another 3 years, so they have to gather here in advance. Looking at the scene in front of him, Yi Tianyun felt it's a pity. Originally he could also go in, but who knows, his cultivation is too high, he can't go in. When the door was completely opened, a layer of light shrouded it. It looked like an invisible door had appeared, blocking their advance. You can go in. Immediately someone rushed inside with the token, and when passing through the invisible gate, it set off a faint wave. Without this token, they can't go in at all. Soon they all rushed inside, ready to start the trial. Jade Palace is ready to go in. Yi Tianyun looked at the light curtain, an idea flashed in his mind, and immediately said to Great Elder, "Can you give me the token? Let me try. Can I go in?" In normal times, Yi Tianyun is simply fooling around, but now he is an elder of Jade Palace. It seems that you still don't want to give up, then I'll let you try. Great Elder motioned one of the disciples to hand over the token. Yi Tianyun took it and smiled. "Thank you, I'll give it a try." Immediately, he took the token and walked towards the heavens immersing ancient ruins. When the Great Elder thought that he would be blocked outside, he stepped in and was not blocked outside. Instead, he walked in without any obstruction, without any restriction. How is this possible? Great Elder was shocked and took a few steps forward, looking at the light curtain in front of him. Yi Tianyun's cultivation is beyond the limit. How can he go in? Immediately Great Elder stretched out his hand, but his hand was blocked by the light curtain in front of him. He can't go in at all. Strange, this restriction is still there? Great Elder frowned and immediately said to the disciple on the side, "Give me your token, let me try." The disciple didn't say anything and immediately handed over the token. After Great Elder took it, when he touched the light curtain again, he still can't go in. Chapter 78. This is a very unexpected result. No one thought that Yi Tianyun would be able to go in. It said that cultivators above the spirit refinement realm can't enter, but Yi Tianyun went in without any pressure. He passed through easily. Strange, what's going on? Great Elder retreated, shocked. Elder Mou, don't you know that you can't go through with your cultivation? Sect Master Huaning's face is strange. Other people's face is even more strange. This is not the first time Great Elder came here. How can she not know the rules? Many people felt that Elder Mou had lost her mind. She had even forgotten about the situation here. It's okay, I just want to try. Great Elder shook her head. She did not say anything. Although she is shocked, she will not say it out loud. Especially Yi Tianyun going in is not a bad thing. But it is not necessarily a good thing, because his cultivation is too high, the things inside don't mean much to him. After she came down, she gestured to the other disciples. You all go in, follow and understand. Understood. They all nodded heavily. They are also shocked. As core disciples, they naturally know how high Yi Tianyun's cultivation is. If he can go in with such a high cultivation, it means that after going in with Yi Tianyun's help, who would dare to touch them? Immediately, they all ran in, but the disciple who gave the token to Yi Tianyun before will not be able to enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins. She suddenly felt a little depressed. Don't worry, we will compensate you after we go back. Great Elder reached out and patted her shoulder, comforting her. The disciple nodded. Even if there is no compensation, she will not say anything, the quota will not be her. If it was not for Yi Tianyun stopping the three major forces, she really would not have a chance to participate. Inside the heavens immersing ancient ruins. When Yi Tianyun walked in from the outside, he was dumbfounded, not to mention the Great Elder and the others don't know, even he himself is dumbfounded. What the hell was going on? Is it a problem with the system, or the task? Tianyun thought for a moment, it should be like this. After all, the main quest was right there. How could they not let it in? Regardless of whether that was the case or not, it was fine as long as he was able to enter. There was no need to investigate how he got in. Very good, it seems that the main quest can be completed. Yi Tianyun was overjoyed and immediately locked on to the quest target. Heavens Immersing Ancient Ruins Occupation Quest. Reward. Control of Heavens Immersing Ancient Ruins, 10. 000 EXP 10. 000 Crazy Point, Endless Sword, Soul Tool. This was a very tempting reward, especially the weapon and control rights. Experience points were not important, but the weapon and control rights were the most important. He immediately turned his attention to the surroundings, observing the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Heavens immersing ancient ruins, just like its name. It wasn't that the sky had really sunk. Instead, he felt a heavy pressure pressing down from the sky. It was as if something was pressing down on his body. Apart from that, it was also a historical site. Cracks had appeared on the surrounding buildings, and several stone pillars had collapsed. The dilapidated ruins seemed to have existed for many years. No matter how heaven-defying it is, it still can't stop the corrosion of time. It still made this once glorious ancient ruins become so dilapidated. In addition to that, there was no bright spot. In addition to the dilapidated buildings, there was no treasure at all. It was just a very empty hall. This heavens immersing ancient ruins had been excavated a long time ago, and all the treasures were taken away. They were just short of digging 3 feet into the ground. Therefore, from the very beginning, they had not come here to look for treasures. The concentration of spiritual power here is several times higher than outside. It is an excellent place to cultivate. Obviously, there is a large array here, absorbing the surrounding spiritual power, making the spiritual power here quite rich. Very rich spiritual power, much stronger than outside. Cultivating here for a day is equivalent to cultivating outside for a week. Yi Tianyun nodded. To be able to make such a large array, the creator must not be simple. Elder Yi, how can you come in? Qin Shui and the others came in from the outside, and when they saw Yi Tianyun, they looked at him strangely. Yi Tianyun shrugged his shoulders and said, I don't know, I just tried to come in. Of course, he won't tell them the real reason, so he just fooled them. They looked at each other. This is too strange. This place has always been restricted to cultivators above spirit refinement realm, but it didn't work for Yi Tianyun. Are you Yi Tianyun? A person suddenly appeared and looked at Yi Tianyun curiously. What's the matter? Yi Tianyun looked at the person. His cultivation is very strong, reaching the peak of spirit refinement realm. In fact, in the sect, he is already a deacon level, but he still came here for trial. It is really unfair. Looking at his clothes, it is obvious that he is brought by sect Master Huaxian, which means he is from Hua Tian sect. It's nothing, I just feel a little familiar. Liang Feng looked up and down at Yi Tianyun, touched his chin with a little interest. It's really Yi Tianyun. I thought he is very similar. He is on the wanted list. At this time, another cultivator with cultivation of 9th level spirit refinement realm came over. It is High Heaven Sex Yong Chenghong. No wonder they know him, they saw him through the wanted list. The reward is really exciting. But now Wind Pavilion has collapsed, although the wanted list is still there, God knows if it has any effect. The chief pavilion master is dead, and he was killed by Jade Palace, who would dare to find trouble with Yi Tianyun. What's the problem? Yi Tianyun looked at them lightly. Nothing else. I heard that you are very powerful. You made a big mess in Wind Pavilion, killed Liang Tiancheng, and caused a lot of trouble, and finally Jade Palace helped you solve it? Liang Feng shook his head. His eyes were full of cold light. Sometimes, you have to rely on your own strength, not standing behind a bunch of women. He has always looked down on Yi Tianyun, mainly because he has a good relationship with Wind Pavilion's Liang Tiancheng. He didn't expect this kind of thing to happen. If it weren't for Jade Palace's influence, he would have killed Yi Tianyun a long time ago. What are you talking about, Yi Zhang? He didn't rely on women to get to this point. Don't talk nonsense. And all the fault is that Liang Tiancheng, not only he slandered me, but he also attacked me. Qin Shui was very angry. She almost exposed the identity of Yi Tianyun. Someone said such things about their elder. Of course they are not happy. Especially in the case of the favorability, everyone in Jade Palace has more than 100 favorability towards Yi Tianyun, so when Yi Tianyun was slandered, they all stood up to speak. Hey, you just finished speaking and you let a woman speak for you. Can't you say a few words yourself? Liang Feng looked at Yi Tianyun with eyes full of contempt, but the one who refuted him is a woman, not Yi Tianyun himself. It's not that Yi Tianyun doesn't want to refute, but he simply disdains to refute. In his opinion, Liang Feng and the others were like monkeys jumping around in front of him. He doesn't want to fight, it will only dirty his hands. The most important thing is that he wants to explore this place. He doesn't want to cause any trouble. After all, he is here to complete the main quest, not to mess around with these idiots. I don't have anything to say to you. Yi Tianyun didn't even look at him, he just turned around and walked inside. Chapter 79. Aren't you very powerful before? I heard that you single-handedly slaughtered the entire Wind Pavilion, and now you just want to leave? Coward! Liang Feng said coldly. You're the coward! Qin Shui shouted at him. Everything is Wind Pavilion's doing. Don't talk nonsense if you don't know. Yes, you're the coward. Don't say that our people are cowards. Everything is Wind Pavilion's problem. The other disciples also glared angrily at Liang Feng, feeling that he had gone too far with his words. Shut up all of you! Liang Feng roared at them, and his terrifying aura pushed them back a few steps. I'm not asking you, I'm asking him. If you have the ability, come and fight me. Everything has nothing to do with your sect. He doesn't want to provoke any trouble. Jade Palace is so powerful now, but if he doesn't avenge Liang Tiancheng, he will feel unwilling, so he immediately challenged Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun frowned. This Liang Feng is really looking for trouble. It really makes him feel very uncomfortable. I said, I'm not interested. Yi Tianyun didn't want to pay attention to him. He turned around and wanted to leave. I said you're a coward. Everyone said that you single-handedly slaughtered the entire Wind Pavilion, but I think you're just relying on the power of Jade Palace to become so strong. You're just a coward standing in a group of women, a useless man. Sure enough, the rumor is right. You've been relying on Shi Shuiyun to stay in Jade Palace, and then you can come here. You have no strength at all, you're just a toy boy. Liang Feng was angry. He has been crazily provoking Yi Tianyun. The people from other sects are gloating. This is really interesting. They want to see how Yi Tianyun will deal with it. Liang Feng's cultivation is not weak. He can be said to be in the top 3 here, enough to do whatever he wants here. Very well, you succeeded in provoking me. Didn't you want to fight to the death? Can we start now? Yi Tianyun said coldly. This had already insulted him. If he didn't retaliate, he would really be a coward. That's good. No problem, let's start now. Liang Feng was overjoyed. He quickly drew his sword, and killing intent flashed in his eyes. This is a battle of life and death. It has nothing to do with the sect. He morphed into a sharp ray of light and charged towards Lee Tianyun. He did not expect the trial to turn into a battle of life and death before it even started. Scram! Lee Tianyun's eyes turned cold, and he kicked back at Liang Feng. His speed was quite fast, like a bolt of lightning, and he ruthlessly kicked Liang Feng. With a bang, Liang Feng was sent flying and slammed into the wall. The wall trembled and a thick layer of dust fell from above. Then, like a deflated balloon, he slid down the wall and stopped moving. Ding successfully killed Liang Feng, gained 9,000 EXP, Jade Heaven Sword, low-grade spirit tool, 900 crazy point. Everyone else stared dumbfoundedly at Liang Feng, who was lying on the ground. A Heavenly Splendor sect disciple quickly rushed over. After inspecting him, he exclaimed, "Dead? Dead? Senior brother Liang Feng is dead." Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't expect that with just one kick, Liang Feng would die. Liang Feng's cultivation is strong, peak of spirit refinement realm, but he died with just one kick. You actually killed senior brother Liang Feng. Our sect leader will not let you go. The disciple of magnificent sect glared at Lee Tianyun. You all saw it just now. He said he wanted to fight to the death with me. Are you going back on your words? Lee Tianyun looked at them coldly. If any of you want to challenge me, or insult Jade Palace, I don't mind having a duel to the death with you. After saying this, Lee Tianyun turned and walked inside, and turned to Qin Shui and said, "Let's go, we wasted a lot of time here." Qin Shui's beautiful eyes flashed with worship. This is the power of Lee Tianyun, the power of their elder. There is a time limit to enter here. After a certain time limit, the door will close. After the door closes, it will be 3 years before they can go out. Everyone looked at each other, their heart trembled. This is the power of Lee Tianyun? Who said that Lee Tianyun is a coward, a weakling, or is it because of Jade Palace? How strong is he to kill a peak of spirit refinement realm with one kick? Core condensation realm? But that's not right. Cultivators above spirit refinement realm can't come in. But if he is at the peak of spirit refinement realm, can he kill him with one kick? They can't figure it out, but one thing is clear, that is Lee Tianyun really has the ability, and not a bunch of women who live off a woman. When he wanted to go somewhere else, Qin Shui immediately said, "Elder Yi, where are you going? Let's walk around and see if there's anything." Lee Tianyun said, There is nothing to search in heaven's immersing ancient ruins, except for the trial stone tablet in front. There is nothing else. Qin Shui said awkwardly. Lee Tianyun certainly knows that there is nothing here. Everything has been dug out, even a slightly precious stone is probably dug out. He just wants to see if there is anything strange around. After all, he is here to control heaven's immersing ancient ruins to complete the quest. I know, but let me take you in first. Lee Tianyun led them inside. When he stepped into another hall, he saw a huge stone tablet standing in the center. A faint luster appeared on its surface. Around this stone tablet, there are already people meditating, shrouded in a light beam from the stone tablet, seemingly comprehending something. This is the trial stone tablet. The disciples who come in here will meditate here to comprehend this stone tablet, to obtain a unique skill. They are now meditating here, through this trial stone tablet to comprehend martial arts. According to their own level, they can comprehend different levels of martial arts. So far, the highest level of martial arts comprehended is Earth level, the lowest level is Human level martial arts. It can be said that it is equivalent to a big treasure house. If they can comprehend an Earth level martial arts, then they will be rich. One must know that the Earth level martial arts in the second level faction, there will never be more than 3. If they can comprehend one, they can imagine how much contribution they will make. You can comprehend it now. I will walk around first. Lee Tianyun said. They all nodded, immediately came in front of the trial stone tablet. They all meditated. As soon as they meditated, the trial stone tablet transmitted a wave of energy, covering them, protecting them from any harm. The highest Earth level martial arts is still useful, at least it can be used as proficiency. Lee Tianyun smiled faintly, but he didn't immediately start meditating. Instead, he decided to walk around first. When he was about to walk around, the magnificent sect disciples who followed behind looked at Yi Tianyun in fear. They did not even dare to look at him. They are all afraid that Yi Tianyun will attack them. If that happens, they will all die here. Although they are a little scared, but they still bite the bullet. After all, this is a rare trial, they can't just waste it. Yi Tianyun just glanced at them, then walked away. As long as they do not provoke him, he is too lazy to care. Although killing can help him level up, it does not mean that he will kill indiscriminately. He is not a bloodthirsty person. Chapter 80. After Yi Tianyun walked around the place, he found that there is nothing here. It's just as they said, there is nothing here except for the trial stone tablet in the middle. Wandering around here was just a waste of time. Shortly after, he returned to the trial stone tablet. Just as he returned, a beam of light disappeared. Accompanying it was a beam of light that descended from the sky, and something fell into the disciple's hands. The disciple excitedly caught the martial arts book. After carefully examining it, he revealed a depressed expression. Mid-grade human-level martial arts, not an earth-level martial arts. He shook his head, feeling that it was a pity. Although the mid-grade human-level martial arts were not bad, they were all here for the earth-level martial arts. If they could not obtain the earth-level martial arts, they would naturally be a little depressed. When he saw Yi Tianyun walking over, he was so scared that he quickly put away the martial arts book and hid to the side. Without the light, it was equivalent to losing protection. It was not unheard of for martial arts to be stolen. If the other party was very strong and the martial arts were stolen, they could only swallow their anger. The most important thing was that they only had one chance. So if their martial arts were stolen, they would return empty-handed. It would be useless even if they came back next year. Everyone only had one chance. After walking out, they would not be able to enter again. This could be seen from the token. After walking in, the token's energy would be exhausted. Only after walking out would it slowly recover. In about a year or two, it would return to its original state. If they could enter and exit at will, they would have taken turns to enter instead of cultivating here. After obtaining the martial arts book, they would either start cultivating or stay here to cultivate. The concentration of spiritual energy here was higher than outside, so they hurriedly cultivated here. This was a very rare opportunity. Yi Tianyun only glanced at him. He was not interested at all and found a place to meditate. The disciple heaved a sigh of relief. Luckily, Yi Tianyun was not interested in him. Otherwise, he would not even know how he died. After Yi Tianyun sat down to meditate, he was immediately enveloped by a beam of light. Moments later, he felt his consciousness being pulled into the trial stone tablet. Shortly after, he felt that he had entered an illusory realm. He was surrounded by stone tablets that were inserted into the yellow sand. It looked very strange. Each stone tablet had a different content engraved on it. Yi Tianyun walked over and looked at the stone tablets one by one. Heaven Transformation Palm, Heaven Cloud Palm, Phantom Light Palm. When he looked at the stone tablets one by one, he discovered that they were all names of martial arts. They were all offensive martial arts, not movement techniques. The stone tablet only had the name of the martial art. As for what grade it was and what effect it had, it didn't say anything at all. In this way, the selection of a good martial art could only be judged by its name. Before coming here, he already knew a little bit about this heaven's immersing ancient ruins. He came here to choose martial arts. However, after choosing a martial art, the stone tablet would disappear forever and would not appear a second time. Therefore, once an earth-level martial art was taken away, it would completely disappear. There's no point in remembering the name and coming back to take it. It's completely gone, so there's not much point in remembering it. But Yi Tianyun wasn't interested in this place. He was more interested in the main quest. From here, how can he control the entire heavens immersing ancient ruins? How can I complete the quest? Yi Tianyun frowned as he walked along the way. There were too many martial arts in front of him. But he believed that most of them were human-level martial arts. It's not surprising that the strong who created this heavens immersing ancient ruins would have so many human-level martial arts. For a first-grade force, human-level martial arts are good martial arts, but for a high-grade force, it's trash martial arts. After going around in a big circle, he really couldn't find any clues. There was no hint at all. Just looking at the large pile of stone tablets, it's impossible to find anything. Looks like I can only use my trump card. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed and immediately activated Luck Aura. Apart from this, he really can't do anything else. Relying on this, his luck increased by 5 times in an instant. According to his 100 luck points, it's equivalent to 500 times. Of course, luck was not calculated in this way. Previously, his luck value was equivalent to 0, but under the lucky halo, he still had good luck with women and encountered other good things. Everyone has a hidden luck. As for how high it is, it's unknown. But with the bonus of luck points, his luck naturally soared, otherwise he wouldn't be so enthusiastic when he saw the quest with Luck Aura. After activating Luck Aura, Yi Tianyun didn't touch any stone tablet, but walked around randomly to see if there would be any changes. After going around in a big circle, he still didn't see any changes. It's the same as before, there's still a pile of stone tablets, no change at all. Even when he glanced around, some of the stone tablets are the same as before, there is no change. Strange, even activating Luck Aura doesn't work this time? Yi Tianyun frowned. Could it be that my luck is not enough? He walked around in a circle and found that there is no point, so he could only turn off Luck Aura. In the end, he can only choose one of the stone tablets. No matter how he walked around here, he can't get out of here. No matter how he ran, he still returned to this area. He can't get out at all. When he chose a stone tablet that looks more pleasing to the eye and was about to touch it, suddenly his hand felt like it was electrocuted and quickly retracted. No, if this is a maze, then these stone tablets are equivalent to the eye of a maze. Yi Tianyun stood up, squinted his eyes and glanced at the stone tablets, quickly constructed a cracking map in his mind, and soon locked on the place to crack this formation, the stone tablet in front of him. Yi Tianyun slapped his thigh and scolded, "Son of a bitch, I was wondering why it is useless. It turned out that I chose this stone tablet before. What a waste of my crazy point." He is very distressed. After going around in a big circle, and finally found that it is in front of him, he wasted a lot of crazy point. But it's not touch, it's destroy. Then he smashed his fist down on the stone tablet. With a loud bang, the entire stone tablet was smashed into countless pieces. After the stone tablet was broken, the surrounding environment quickly disappeared. Whether it is the yellow sand or the stone tablet, everything disappeared. After a moment, he was in another special environment, blue sea and blue sky, a quiet island. I can really come in by destroying it. It seems that the difficulty is really not small. If I don't crack the maze outside, then I can't come in here. If I don't know, I can only choose the martial arts outside. Yi Tianyun shook his head. If he chose to touch it, it is estimated that he will really get the martial arts instead of entering here. It seems that even if his luck is good, he knows which is the goal, but if he doesn't complete it according to the rules, it is still meaningless. If it is someone else, they will not destroy it, but touch it. Even if his luck is good, he chose the right stone tablet, but not destroy it, but touch it, then it will end in failure. But because of this, maybe he will get the earth-level martial arts. In any case, this is the right stone tablet. Chapter 81. Yi Tianyun looked around. Except for the flowers and trees, there was nothing special. But there was a small path in front of him. He walked along the path, and after walking for a while, a small courtyard came into view. It doesn't look as broken as the outside, but the inside is an illusion, so of course, the illusion will not be destroyed, so it can maintain the original state. Although it is not destroyed, the courtyard looks very ordinary. It seems to be built with ordinary wood. Originally, things like illusions can be built at will. It can be as luxurious as you want, but in this place, it is extremely ordinary. But the more ordinary it is, the more problematic it is. True experts would simplify the great Tao. They would focus on simplicity instead of focusing on luxury. He came to the front of the courtyard, reached out and gently knocked on the door. Dong dong dong, a few times. In this quiet courtyard, it is particularly loud. Come in. A low voice came from inside. Lee Tianyun was surprised. He did not expect that there is really someone here. He just knocked on the door politely. After all, this is someone else's territory. Whether or not they are here, he still needs to test. After that, he gently pushed open the door, and what entered his eyes was a courtyard filled with flowers and plants. An old man sat in a pavilion in the courtyard, and he was drinking by himself. He seemed to be very leisurely. Junior, greet senior. Lee Tianyun respectfully walked in and respectfully saluted the old man. An expert who can create the heavens immersing ancient ruins is definitely not an ordinary person, so of course he has to be respectful. The strong will always be respected, so he also has to be respectful. There is no need to be so polite. I am not the owner of this place. The old man smiled and stood up. You are not the owner of this place? Lee Tianyun is startled. He lives here, but he is not the owner of this place? Yes, this old man is just the manager here. You can call me Old Xian. Faded one, please follow me. Elder Xian gestured for him to enter the house. Lee Tianyun nodded his head and followed Elder Xian into the house. There were no other treasures in the house, but there was a memorial tablet on the table with the words, Spirit King Xian Tian clearly written on it. The owner of this house was Spirit King Xian Tian. So it's a Spirit King? Lee Tianyun was shocked. A Spirit King was second only to a Holy King. In fact, they were at the Void Spirit stage, and were generally referred to as Spirit Kings. In this continent, he was already an existence that stood at the pinnacle. No wonder he was able to create such a massive historical site. It was not difficult for him to have such strength. This is Master's Memorial Tablet. Elder Xian sighed. Spirit King Xian Tian, he's already? Tianyun was startled. A Spirit King died just like that? Yes, so what if he's a Spirit King? He still can't escape the fate of death. Elder Xian sighed. Lee Tianyun's expression was solemn. He respectfully said, then this junior will first light an incense stick for senior to show his respect. Elder Xian gently waved his hand. An incense stick appeared in his hand and he handed it to Lee Tianyun. Tianyun took the incense stick, came to the front of the memorial tablet, and deeply bowed 3 times. His attitude was dignified and quite respectful. In his heart, he felt that it was a pity that a Spirit King had fallen just like that. After bowing 3 times, he walked over with the incense stick and inserted it into the incense burner. Elder Xian looked at Lee Tianyun, nodded with satisfaction, and then said, not bad, you have a good temperament and a good character. You are qualified to become Master's successor disciple. Lee Tianyun was startled. He only lit an incense stick. How could he be qualified to become Master's successor disciple? You don't have to be surprised, I just have the qualification. But it's better than the others, who don't even have the qualification. Elder Xian coldly snorted. Not only do they not have the slightest bit of politeness, they are not sincere towards Master. They don't have the slightest bit of respect. They are the type to run away after obtaining the inheritance. They are definitely not trustworthy. You mean to say that there were indeed people who came in before, but due to a problem with their attitude, they did not obtain the inheritance? Lee Tianyun asked doubtfully. That's right, and I even gave them a punishment. Elder Xian said in a low voice, this is my territory, I can feel anyone's sincere respect towards Master. If they do not have such thoughts, then they do not have the qualifications to obtain it. Soon after, Elder Xian smiled at him and said, you don't have to worry, your temperament is not bad. My master has always been very hospitable and attaches great importance to etiquette. You are very suitable. Lee Tianyun could not help but wipe off the cold sweat on his forehead. Luckily, he had corrected his attitude, otherwise he would really be finished. Although he did not know what Elder Xian meant by punishment, but from the current situation, it seems that he will either die or become an idiot. Their souls are connected to the trial stone tablet. As long as they hit it hard, even if they don't die, they will definitely become an idiot. Their bodies are not affected, but they will become an idiot. It seems that sometimes it is important to pay attention to etiquette. Many cultivators rushed in, knocked open the door and wanted to snatch the treasure. Where is the slightest bit of etiquette? Who would have thought that there would be a test of etiquette to enter? What does Elder Xian want to test? Lee Tianyun asked. If you want to obtain our master's inheritance, without a certain level of strength, you will not be able to inherit it. Elder Xian smiled. He has a good impression of Yi Tianyun. The level you want to achieve is very simple, that is to defeat Master. Defeat Master? Yi Tianyun said in a daze. Didn't Spirit King Xian Tian already pass away? How can I compete with him? Of course, not the real Master, but the divine sense left by the Master. As long as you defeat this divine sense, you will be qualified to inherit the inheritance. Elder Xian said in a deep voice. If you fail, I will slightly impact your soul, causing this part of your memory to be erased. There will be no problem. Although they welcome many geniuses to complete the inheritance, everything depends on their own strength. If everyone knows the rules, then there will be no difficulty here. No problem. Yi Tianyun nodded. He definitely has no problem. If he can't deal with it, then no one can. The limit here is Spirit Refinement Realm. He is a core condensation realm cultivator. Who can he be afraid of? Well, are you ready now? Elder Xian asked. Tianyun said. Elder Xian nodded. With a wave of his hand, the courtyard in front of him disappeared, and in front of him is a huge martial arts arena, surrounded by empty space. There is no end to it. Then a young man appeared in front of Yi Tianyun. His eyes were closed. When he appeared, he slowly opened his eyes. A bright light burst out from his eyes, as if it can pierce through the world. Chapter 82. When Master was young, he didn't know much, so you don't have to worry about what kind of amazing martial arts Master will use. Old Xian smiled faintly and said, as for Master's cultivation level, it is determined according to your cultivation level. The higher your cultivation level, the higher Master's cultivation level. As long as you defeat Master, you can smoothly become the successor. To be able to defeat Spirit King Xian Tian, who was at the same level as him, even when he was young, he was not a simple character. I wonder how strong are you now? Old Xian gently raised his hand. A light shrouded Yi Tianyun and began to explore his cultivation level. After a moment of exploration, Old Xian suddenly dumbfounded, shocked. Core condensation stage. Moreover, 7th level core condensation? Although Old Xian is the manager of this place, he is the one in charge of the illusion array, so his ability is not weak, so it is not difficult to explore someone's cultivation level. But after the exploration, he was immediately dumbfounded. 7th level core condensation stage, completely beyond spirit refinement stage. Yes, Junior is at 7th level core condensation stage. I don't know why I can come in. Is this a violation of the rules? Yi Tianyun is a little embarrassed. He doesn't want Old Xian to disqualify him. That would be funny. That's strange. I clearly told you that only core condensation cultivators can come in, but you can come in. Old Xian smiled bitterly. It seems that there's a problem, but since you're here, I can't let you leave. The cultivation limit is so low, mainly because it is very flexible. Even if you repractice other martial arts, it will not waste any time. Therefore, it is set at spirit refinement stage. Since you are at core condensation stage, if the inheritance is not suitable for your cultivation, it will be a troublesome thing. Old Xian, you don't have to worry about this problem. I think there is nothing that is not suitable for my cultivation, and I don't need to abolish my previous martial arts. Yi Tianyun has the system. The system is all-inclusive. As long as it is a martial art, it can be used on equipment. Alright, no matter what, you will have two choices when the time comes. One is to give up, but I will erase your memories. The other is to continue cultivating, but if it doesn't suit your cultivation, I will forcefully cripple your previous cultivation. Elder Xian said solemnly. This was his master's inheritance, so he had to treat it seriously and not casually spread it out. No problem. Yi Tianyun smiled and said, Elder Xian, what is your definition of cultivation? Since you're at 7th level core condensation, then you're still at 7th level core condensation. If you're still at spirit refinement realm, then there's no need for this fight. Old Xian gently waved his hand and a light enveloped Spirit King Xian Tian. The young Spirit King Xian Tian's momentum suddenly skyrocketed, soaring all the way to the sky. In Yi Tianyun's eyes, his overall combat strength had started from 0 and had been rising crazily. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Until it reached almost 50,000, it finally stopped. This is already a very scary number. A normal 7th level core condensation cultivator's combat strength is about 40,000, but this Spirit King Xian Tian is worthy to be called a teenager. His combat strength has reached 50,000. Spirit King Xian Tian, teenager, 7th level core condensation, extremely strong physique, a high-grade spirit tool, combat strength is 50,000. This Spirit King Xian Tian is really not simple. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. Using the appraisal eye, Spirit King Xian Tian's combat strength is really not weak. Of course, for Yi Tianyun, this is nothing. With the buff of the power suit, his combat strength has reached 60,000, which is enough to crush Spirit King Xian Tian. Without the buff of the power suit, his combat strength is also about 50,000, basically the same as Spirit King Xian Tian. And this is because he has the Dragon God's bloodline to strengthen his physique. Previously, he activated the Dragon God's bloodline in his body, which strengthened his physique a lot. From this point, it can be seen that Spirit King Xian Tian's physique is absolutely amazing. The buff of the power suit is 100% strength, but it doesn't mean 100% combat strength, it simply increases Yi Tianyun's strength. If he directly increases all of his strength, it means that his combat strength will explode to 100,000, which is obviously impossible. The power suit is not a divine tool, it can only be equivalent to a spirit tool. You can choose your own weapon, you can also choose the weapon we give you, it's up to you. Old Xian said, but Master doesn't need a weapon, he can only rely on his fists. Only relying on my fists? Then I will also fight with my bare fists to show my respect. Yi Tianyun did not choose any other weapon. He chose to fight with his bare fists. Are you sure? Old Xian said, this is not a simple matter. Master's physique is much stronger than ordinary cultivators. I know you want to show respect, but what is needed here is strength. No problem, I want to use my fists. Yi Tianyun said with a smile, I don't think I can lose to anyone with my fists. Old Xian was silent for a while, then said, well, as you wish. If you fail, you won't have the chance to challenge, you will be treated as a failure. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. Seeing Yi Tianyun's determination, Old Xian can only choose to give up and immediately said, then let's begin. As soon as his voice fell, Spirit King Xian Tian stomped the ground with all his strength. Boom. Just like a meteorite, every time he stomped the ground, there was a feeling of the earth shaking. A strong sense of oppression rushed towards Yi Tianyun's face. Yi Tianyun's expression was indifferent. When Spirit King Xian Tian rushed towards him, he smiled and quickly reached out his hand to meet Spirit King Xian Tian's fist, without the slightest fear. Old Xian looked at this scene and shook his head. Facing Spirit King Xian Tian's fist head-on, this is not a good method. It should be said that it is a stupid method. Spirit King Xian Tian's forte is his strong physique. Even if he doesn't learn any martial arts, he can still burst out a terrifying power. Bang! With a heavy punch, Yi Tianyun's palm grabbed Spirit King Xian Tian's fist and a terrifying suction force quickly came from his palm. Absorbing Star's great technique, coupled with the Dark North divine art, a super strong suction force came from his palm and a steady stream of spiritual energy was drawn out and flowed into Yi Tianyun's body. 1,000 experience points, 1,300 experience points, 1,200 experience points. It is still effective here. I can still absorb EXP. This made Yi Tianyun happy. Immediately activated the crazy EXP mode. Suddenly the EXP value skyrocketed. 4,000 EXP, 4,400 EXP, 4,800 EXP. A steady stream of EXP, like crazy, flowed into his body. Chapter 83. Spirit King Xian Tian was completely suppressed by Yi Tianyun. Both of his hands were tightly grabbing onto Yi Tianyun's hand. No matter how Yi Tianyun struggled, he couldn't break free. Compared to me, your physique is still a bit lacking. Yi Tianyun smiled. It's undeniable that Spirit King Xian Tian's physique is very strong, But he's even stronger. Especially with the buff from the power suit, he was firmly suppressed, unable to move at all. Spirit King Shen Tian didn't give up struggling at all. A cold light flashed in his eyes. He suddenly kicked towards Yi Tianyun. A domineering chi burst out from his foot, like a sickle trying to hook Yi Tianyun's body. But the moment he kicked, Yi Tianyun's mouth curved into a smile, immediately grabbed Spirit King Shen Tian's arm, pulled him to the side, and threw him away. But his hand didn't leave the arm that grabbed Spirit King Shen Tian's arm. After dodging the kick, Yi Tianyun pressed Spirit King Shen Tian to the ground. Because of the kick, Spirit King Shen Tian's center of gravity was unstable. Under the pressure of Yi Tianyun, he fell to the ground. Bang! Spirit King Shen Tian fell heavily on the ground, then was suddenly pulled by Yi Tianyun, turned around. His whole body was now facing the ground. Tianyun quickly kneeled on his waist and pressed him to the ground. Strength is good, but in the case of suppressing you, it's nothing. Yi Tianyun smiled, opened his inventory, threw the double EXP pill into his mouth, and his EXP doubled again. In total, his EXP has increased by 6 times. Originally, he thought that he wouldn't get any EXP, so he didn't take the double EXP pill before, but now that he can get EXP, he naturally won't waste it. 6,000 EXP, 6,300 EXP, 7,000 EXP. Spirit King Shen Tian's EXP kept rising, like a monster, constantly being absorbed by Yi Tianyun. Maintaining this state, Tianyun kept absorbing EXP like crazy, unable to move at all. From the beginning, Yi Tianyun already planned to do this. He just wanted to see how long Spirit King Shen Tian could be absorbed by him. Old Shen, who was watching from the side, was dumbfounded. From the very beginning, he was completely suppressed by Spirit King Shen Tian, and in terms of strength, he was even stronger than him. Under this super strong suppression, he couldn't even move a bit. What power! Very few cultivators of the same generation can surpass Master. Elder Shen felt that it was inconceivable, but he didn't stop the duel. This duel could only be considered over if one side lost. Either Yi Tianyun is sent flying, or Spirit King Shen Tian is killed. There's only one choice. Spirit King Shen Tian twisted madly, but no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't break free from Yi Tianyun's suppression. He could only obediently let Yi Tianyun extract his spiritual power, and his body gradually became transparent. Under normal circumstances, Spirit King Shen Tian will only disappear when he is beheaded, but now he is slowly being drained of his spiritual energy and disappearing. Old Shen can feel the whole process. He can feel his master's EXP King Shen Tian's EXP King is slowly being drained. Although this is an illusion, it is also made of EXP King Shen Tian's EXP King. Once EXP King Shen Tian's EXP King Shen Tian's EXP King, this place will collapse. I'd like to see how long you can last. Yi Tianyun smiled. It seems like it will take a long time before he can kill Spirit King Shen Tian. Looking at the EXP constantly increasing, he is naturally very happy. If it was any other 7th level core condensation cultivator, they would have already been sucked dry by him. Spirit King Shen Tian has a lot of EXP in his EXP King's EXP. In this state, Yi Tianyun has been crazily absorbing Spirit King Shen Tian's EXP for a long time, adding up to hundreds of thousands of EXP. He still can't suck Spirit King Shen Tian dry. He looked down at the suppressed Spirit King Shen Tian. He seems to be quite strong. His body is slightly transparent. The key is not only Spirit King Shen Tian has become a little transparent, even the illusion has become a little transparent. What kind of martial art is this? How can you keep absorbing Spirit King Shen Tian? Old Shen finally couldn't help but ask. His face showed a wry smile. If you continue to absorb Spirit King Shen Tian like this place will collapse. Yi Tianyun looked at Old Shen and smiled. No way, this place will collapse so easily? If you continue to absorb Spirit King Shen like this, you will definitely collapse. The heavens immersing ancient ruins has been here for too long. The effect of the Spirit Gathering Array is getting weaker and weaker. The ability to gather Spirit King Shen Tian is getting worse and worse. If you continue to absorb Spirit King Shen Tian like this, you won't be able to absorb Spirit King Shen Tian anymore. This evildoer seems to be addicted to it. Normally, cultivators would just quickly defeat them, but he's actually suppressing Spirit King Xian Tian. It seems like he is addicted to absorbing Spirit King Xian Tian's Spirit King Xian Tian. Of course, Yi Tianyun can't be full, no matter how much Spirit King Xian Tian has. He can absorb it all and convert it into EXP unless he reaches the peak. He can keep absorbing Spirit King Xian Tian. But I didn't even defeat Spirit King Xian Tian. Does this count as defeating him? Yi Tianyun asked. This doesn't count as defeating Master. I can't interfere, you. Let go of Master, then defeat him. Old Xian said in a pleading tone. If he continues to stay like this, the entire heavens immersing ancient ruins will collapse. Just because it hasn't collapsed now doesn't mean it won't collapse in the future. Old Xian is relying on Spirit King Xian to stay here. If he doesn't have Spirit King Xian Tian's Spirit King Xian Tian, he will disappear. Well? Yi Tianyun smiled and said, let's talk about it later. Old Xian's heart was about to collapse. Before he thought that Yi Tianyun was very respectful, but now it seems that he is a bit like a rogue. You can't blame him, he finally found a big piece of meat, how can he let it go? Continuously absorbing EXP is much faster than looking for high-level cultivators to kill, at least it saves a lot of trouble. After absorbing for a long time, a pleasing sound finally came. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun. Successfully broke through to core condensation stage level 8. Finally leveled up, this process is quite long. Yi Tianyun smacked his lips, although the absorption speed is not slow, but it requires a lot more EXP, that's why it took so long to absorb. After he leveled up, he saw that the surroundings are more transparent, but it seems that it can still last for a while. Although there are some problems with the spirit gathering array in heaven's immersing ancient ruins, but it is more or less useful. Little friend, have you absorbed enough? Is it not enough? Old Xian looked at Yi Tianyun. He can't help but persuade him. This attitude is no longer that of a superior, it's more like a pleading attitude. If he could intervene, he would definitely judge Yi Tianyun as the winner, instead of watching from the sidelines. Almost, it's just a little bit, it won't collapse so easily. Yi Tianyun smiled. Such a big heavens immersing ancient ruins, how can it collapse so easily? Chapter 84. After listening, Old Xian almost vomited blood. He still wants to absorb more? How long will it take for him to reach the peak? That's enough, although I don't know what kind of martial arts you practice. But if you absorb too much, your spiritual power will be too impure. It will cause the spiritual power in your body to be unstable. Old Xian began to use his knowledge to persuade Yi Tianyun. Old Xian is right, so I plan to get up in a while. Yi Tianyun smiled. He naturally knows this truth, but it doesn't apply to him. It's just that he thought, it's not easy to catch a big fat piece of meat. If he doesn't absorb more, it'll be a waste. Although he will be able to take control of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, it doesn't mean that he can move it away. So he needs to absorb as much EXP as possible to improve his cultivation. Well, I hope you can hurry up. Old Xian wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. In the end, after Yi Tianyun absorbed more than 500,000 EXP, he decided to give up. He wanted to absorb a little more, until he reaches 9th level core condensation before leaving, or until he reaches peak core condensation. But it seems that if he continues to absorb like this heavens immersing ancient ruins will really collapse. Although this place was built by the Spirit King, but it's been a long time, if he was at his peak, he can keep absorbing like crazy without any problem. It's estimated that the spirit gathering array can replenish it much faster than him. But now it's been a long time, it's already good enough that it still exists. If it weren't for the spirit gathering array, it would have completely collapsed. Almost at the same time, Yi Tianyun bounced up. The suppressed Spirit King Xian Tian also bounced up. Just as he stood up, he attacked Yi Tianyun. This divine sense can only attack, there is no other communication, only when it is killed will it disappear. Break for me. Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed, he swung his fist and punched the Spirit King Xian Tian, sending him flying. Immediately, he stepped on the ground again, he chased after the Spirit King. Both of his palms combined into a fist, he punched the Spirit King again. Boom! After Spirit King Xian Tian was slammed into the ground, his body suffered heavy injuries. there are faint cracks. Yi Tianyun didn't let Spirit King Xian Tian go. He punched his body heavily. Spirit King Xian Tian didn't even have time to bounce back. He was hit by this heavy punch. Bang. In the end, Spirit King Xian Tian turned into countless stars and dissipated in the air. He was completely defeated. Ding successfully killed juvenile Spirit King Xian Tian, gaining 10,000 EXP, 3,400 crazy point. Spirit King Xian Tian, EXP, Spirit King, of Tian, exit didn't expect. King expect this, X, Spirit, It's finally over. Yi Tianyun shook his head. He looked at Old Xian and said, Old Xian, did I complete the test? Old Xian shook his head. Seeing that Yi Tianyun finally stopped absorbing, he was relieved. Congratulations on completing the test. You can now obtain Master's Inheritance. Including the control of heaven's immersing ancient ruins? Yi Tianyun quickly added, yes, as long as you get Master's Inheritance, then the control of heaven's immersing ancient ruins will naturally belong to you. Old Xian smiled. Very good, that's what I need. Yi Tianyun smiled. Gaining control of heaven's immersing ancient ruins is equivalent to occupying it, naturally completing the task. Come with me. Although Yi Tianyun continued to absorb spiritual power, making the spiritual power here a little thin, but it doesn't violate any rules. It can only be said that Yi Tianyun's level is very high. This is not a bad thing, in fact, it's a good thing. The stronger the inheritor, the better, otherwise, how can he be worthy of the inheritance? Immediately Old Xian waved his hand, the surrounding space changed, and in front of them is the outermost trial stone tablet. It looks exactly the same. But on the surface, it's different. When they looked at the stone tablet before, they couldn't see what was written on it. Now Yi Tianyun can clearly see what is written on the stone tablet. Xian Tian Divine Tactics? Yi Tianyun saw the title. He felt that it's not that simple. Because the master of this place is called Spirit King Xian Tian. Does this mean that by relying on this divine tactics, one can reach Spirit King level? I believe you can see, this is the divine tactics that Master has improved countless times. As long as your talent is not weak, then you can continue to cultivate until you reach Spirit King level. Elder Xian immediately added, this is a heaven-tier martial art, and it's a middle-tier heaven-tier martial art. Unfortunately, I'm at the end of my lifespan, and I'm unable to improve this martial art to a high-tier heaven-tier martial art. He sighed deeply, feeling that it's still a pity. A high-grade heaven-level martial art can be considered complete. Only then can one reach Saint King level. To be able to create a martial art and cultivate it to Spirit King level is already very amazing. Yi Tianyun knows the difficulty. A martial art needs to be improved many times before it can become extremely perfect and suitable for cultivation. Otherwise, if he were to go berserk, his cultivation would probably be crippled. But a heaven-level martial art is already quite amazing. Even a third-grade force does not have a heaven-level martial art. Only fourth-grade forces have a heaven-level martial art, and they are extremely rare. Yes, the difficulty is not small. So you have to inherit Master's Mantle, cultivate this inheritance, and then improve it, perfect the Xian Tian Divine Tactics. This is Master's last wish. Old Xian said. Yi Tianyun nodded. I will cultivate this martial art well. If you want to cultivate this martial art, in addition to your talent, you also need to meet a relatively harsh condition. Old Xian solemnly said. What harsh condition? Yi Tianyun asked. Your blood energy must be strong enough, and your body must be strong enough. Old Xian explained. The Xian Tian Divine Tactics is a martial art that can make one's defense to the extreme, so it needs a huge amount of blood energy to support it. Super strong defense, invulnerability, from the beginning, you will be in an invincible position. Immediately, Yi Tianyun displayed the Dragon God bloodline. The surging blood energy and strong body shocked Old Xian speechless. Is this okay? Yi Tianyun said indifferently. Old Xian was silent for a while, then said in a low voice, Monster, if you do not meet this condition, you need to strengthen the tempering to be able to cultivate it. Now, Yi Tianyun completely met the standard, even exceeding his expectations. Then let's start now. You start to comprehend this Xian Tian divine tactics. What needs to be tested is your comprehension. When the time came, he would see if he could master it. If he couldn't, he could only say sorry. Of course, you only need to cultivate the first 2 levels. Old Xian said in a low voice. Every martial art has its own characteristics. If it is not compatible, it will be extremely difficult to cultivate. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.